Hello everyone and welcome back to another Throwback Thursday. Today we're actually throwing back to one of the most beautiful games I think I've ever played, which is Ashes: Rise of the Phoenixborn. This was lost my thought.
2005?
Published by 2015 by Plaid Hat Games, and we first became aware of Plaid Hat actually when we opened Covenant Tulsa, our local retail store, in 2012. We had a lot of players coming in, and they were like, "Hey, have you heard of this game called Summoner Wars?"
And we hadn't.
But it was a positional card game, which, if you've been following our Sky Terror coverage over the past 6 months, you probably realize how much we would dig that. So we like Summoner Wars a lot, and then we showed up at Gen Con 2015, and there was this, the booth for Plaid Hats. They had this big Ashes display. And Ashes, the box itself was super striking. It reminded me a lot of the Tokaido box. It's this very minimal white with this beautiful colors on it. I don't have it here. I saw you looking. It's like, hey, do we have it?
Can I
show
that off?
But that was before the whole minimal white box thing was super overdone. So Tokaido did it, then I think Ashes and a couple others did it, and then it was like, you go into a game store and it's like all white.
I remember we were walking the hall at Gen Con, and we always do. So what we do at Gen Con, we basically kind of split up and blitz the hall early, and then kind of take notes.
During the press hour.
Yeah, we take notes of here's something that looked interesting, or here's a game that might fit, or something that we might want to support or cover. And then we kind of meet up and say, okay, let's compare notes. And that particular year, I think everybody had kind of seen Ashes and was like, we got to learn more about this game.
Yeah.
Because it was super striking. The art style and everything was just like, oh, well, here's something different.
Yeah, and a lot of times we'll split up into groups of two. So you and Robert will peel off, and Jonathan and I will go the other direction, and we'll try to cover that hall very quickly to gather intel and be like, hey, is there anything? And when we met up, I remember you and Robert were like, there's this Ashes by Plaid Hat. We need to go look at that. So we went, and the initial impression was very strong, but we actually ran into Isaac, who was the lead designer of the game, and the core box looks fantastic. So that's already appealing. But then you start looking at some of the cards, and the art, what's the templating called? Not the art direction, but
the graphic design.
Graphic design was by Dave Richards, and the art was by Fernanda. We would find out later. And it's just very minimalistic, kind of white backgrounds, and this art style is super beautiful, and the white kind of vibe makes the colors themselves pop really strongly. Yeah. And so then we start talking to Isaac, and he just starts singing us a song. You know what I mean?
Great. Yeah, he kind of hit us like Luke Crane did that one
it's
time
just
with Burning Wheel. It's like,
okay.
whoa, whatever this guy's
Isaac,
into, I'm there.
What's the Dead of Winter? I was going to say there's a zombie board game. So Isaac had done, I believe, Dead of Winter before this, and so this was his first card game. And he grew up apparently playing card games and whatnot, but he was saying things as fellow card gamers that were just really on the money.
Yeah.
So one of his big things was basically just making sure your Phoenixborn felt powerful from the get, right? Start of the game feels like your Phoenixborn, and then there's resources and mana and all that kind of stuff. We'll get into when we start showing the game, but dice is a resource, right? And then also the big thing was, I go. You go.
We pass an action back and forth,
and that will remind you of another game that I talk incessantly about, which is Star Wars Destiny.
Incessantly as
well. Dice-based, they start on the table, and then also it's back and forth, right? And this is 2015.
And the reason, so some games, You Go, I Go can have a bunch of different contexts, right? You could do a bunch of things, and then the other person goes and they do a bunch of things. But in this case, what you're talking about is a tiny unit of the main action in Ashes, and a little side action too. But there's a tiny thing, and almost everything that happens in the game, just like with Destiny, you have a moment where your opponent can respond before it's actually going to do a bad thing to you.
Yeah, so you kind of have to telegraph what you're doing, and there's that tension that gets created when you can see that I have a thing that's going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
And you get one thing you get to do, right?
You get a moment.
And it's that constant balance of, what do I stop now versus what do I build for later? Because every action you take is going to spend your dice. You only have 10 dice, right?
Right.
And that's also another clever component of the game where there's these different colors of dice you can see in front of us. And you bring 10 of those to the game, and each of them has basic symbols. Each has a 1 and 6 at the power symbol. And that power symbol does a different thing based on what color the die is, and that also keys to certain cards that you can put into play. Almost
it actually feels like magic. I mean, really.
Yeah, super cool. So we're very impressed, and from there we actually, our whole methodology on how we decide what games to support and how we actually support them and what we do has been evolving. If you go back over the past 5 or 6 years, it's changed a lot. But Ashes was super relevant because that was the first time we really did a lot of content leading up to the launch of a game. So we got it at Gen Con. We had an early copy. We broke down every Phoenixborn. We broke down the
we
dice
did.
types. We did all
It was
kinds of
super
different
fun.
content. We were just huge fans of this game and Plaid Hat in general. And then that led to an event we called Ashes Weekend. Isaac came, Fernanda came, Dave came. It was fantastic.
Actually, you know what? I realized we just have. Hold on, check this out.
Uh-oh.
I remember this is hiding back here.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Look at that.
That's right, and Plaid Hat came, and they brought plaid hats. This is signed by all those people, which is fantastic. I can't believe that you just randomly remembered that we had
back
that.
behind that pillar
Since
for literally
Ashes Weekend.
since Ashes Weekend. Fernanda, Isaac's on here, Colby's probably on here. I don't know who else on here.
Yeah, so it was just an incredible weekend. It was our first like
Plaid Hat.
big event
Good
that I
branding.
think we hosted that was bigger than like a regional where it was ticketed and it's kind of a big. We had a pre-release for the first 2 expansions.
Live demo with Rodney of Watch It Play.
That's right.
He was
Rodney
there.
came in. That was great.
From
And then
Canada?
we actually launched our compatible tokens, the Arcane tokens, which we still have on our website available to this day. It still sells, which is fantastic. And just had a great time. That was a notable weekend. I remember going to Kilkenny's with everyone after, and it was just like, it was really just
That was a great event.
extraordinary. So that was kind of the peak. After that, it kind of takes a turn for the worst, unfortunately, right? A few things happened. One, we didn't know it at
hero's
the
journey
time,
here.
but yeah, Ashes was being... not Ashes, Plaid Hat was being courted by a company called F2Z, who was kind of like acquiring publishers in the same way Asmodee did, who eventually would acquire F2Z, but was being courted. And I don't know the ins and outs of exactly how or why it happened. There's a lot of rumors speculating on why it happened, but that next Gen Con 2016, they were pre-selling the like next expansions, and they were already kind of slower on getting these expansions out than I think they wanted to be, because by the time we got to Gen Con, I think there were 1 release shy of what they had originally planned.
Yeah.
Production is not easy, and I think for someone like Plaid Hat at the time, right, it's like they were getting into territory with a game that they had never really been in, right? This like super expandable, want organized play, want to deal with it, but we're also like a living card game, which competitive living card games we talk about all the time on the podcast have their own struggles.
We would later find out that very few of them would make it.
Even by I think a much bigger company in Fantasy Flight Games, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not easy. So. Anyways, they pre-sell these expansions, and then we find out, we've have all these people that signed up for our subscription service. If you're unfamiliar, we have, usually with these games that we support, we have a subscription. You can sign up. You don't pay anything until a week or 2 before stuff's coming out. We charge you. It shows up on your door. It's like magic, literally. Magic. But the recognition was that we found out, we'd had our order in for a very long time, but then it was like, hey, you're only going to get like 10% of your order. So then we have to go and we have to deal with telling 90% of our subscribers, hey, we can't do the one thing we promised you we would work really hard to do, which is actually send you this product. And that was the same case
That's
across
devastating.
all the retailers across the country. So you go a year convincing them to support your game line, and all of a sudden they can't get product, which is bad for 2 reasons. Because 1, they can't make any money off of actually supporting your game, and 2, a bunch of players can't get this expansion.
Right.
And the moment you have something come out and most of your players can't get it, it's a recipe for disaster.
Game of
when
momentum,
it comes
man.
to building these communities. At the same time, though, referencing Destiny again, that was the Gen Con 2016 when Destiny gets announced. So now you also have a dice-based action game
And
from a
Zach
bigger
goes-
publisher based on Star Wars,
What?
which is one of my favorite IPs ever. And so all of a sudden, my attention, particularly at this point, is like totally diverted to this game. So by the end of that year, like I'm not paying attention to Ashes at all. I was surprised actually. We got a bunch more products to do this video, and like I'm just gonna dump this out. But these are all new decks that came out since I stopped paying attention. And so what happened is Plaid
These
Hat,
are all the new Phoenixborn, basically.
yeah, Plaid Hat got acquired by F2Z. F2Z got acquired by Asmodee, and they kept supporting this until like last year at some point. And they announced that, hey, this is going to be the end. It's going to be the end of the game. We have a ton of cards that are just sitting here for this, which is just crazy.
This is the most it's also the most fantastic, just diversity of characters, representation, and all of these Phoenixborn is just off the charts.
Yeah, and that was another big thing. I mean, they were way ahead of
Super
their
notable.
time in the way it looks and templating diversity, and also choosing to release the expansions as fully playable decks. Like later champions would
would've
figure
thought?
that out. But that's something that we've been talking about for years. It's just like if you're going to do a non-collectible game, this seems very obvious that you should make it super easy to get in. Buy the latest pack, you can start playing. So fast forward until earlier this year, and we're heading into Gamma back in March, and right before that, it's announced that Colby is actually going to acquire his company back. So it gets bought by F2Z, F2Z gets bought by Asmodee, Plaid Hat gets bought back by Colby, who was
minus Dead of Winter,
minus a few of their big board games,
all of the titles basically.
But
at the time.
Keeps the rights to Summoner Wars. He gets to keep Ashes if he wants it. And so we were talking to him. We set up an interview because it's like he's someone that's super interesting to talk to because he was the head of studio that whole time. So they got bought. He was still in charge of Plaid Hat as he went, and so. We sit down to talk with him and what was that like and what kind of journey had he been going through, which is really interesting. And that was a great interview. If you didn't catch it, that's still on our YouTube channel. I think it's really cool to see. But he was saying a lot of the stuff we had started identifying about ourselves that was interesting, right? Like he starts talking about minimum viable audience and making games because you want to make them and if possible, serving them to an audience that actually wants it, regardless of whether it works in a 3-tier system or it fits any kind of like big picture. Because when you're dealing with a company like Asmodee, who owns a bunch of publishers, I'm sure it gets a lot more corporate, where it's like these are products that have to make a certain kind of return, and like it's just a very different lens than if you're your own owner of a company. You can do whatever you want.
And Asmodee really, I mean, it seems like their bread and butter, which makes a ton of sense, is all of those evergreen titles, right? You want to build your evergreen titles. You want to kind of distribute those throughout the year as retail stores stock up, maybe try to hit mass market, and just keep that building.
Which is probably
why pouring support into one particular game.
You see them want to, when they agree to whatever the deal between Colby and them is, right? They keep Dead of Winter.
Yep.
It's like Dead of Winter is a classic example of a board game that's just going to keep selling probably for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
As opposed to a game that has to have continual development, community management, etc.
Because I remember Jamie saying, I think he sold, 60,000 copies of Scythe? Like last year or something? Like on a podcast or on a blog that he did?
I know Wingspan. I remember that was notable because when he came onto our podcast, he was saying he sold 300,000 copies of it in a year. And it was just like...
And that's probably one that will churn for like at least 100,000 copies over the next 10 years. And that's...
At least.
If you're a publisher, you're a distributor looking at that, you're just like, whew,
I bet Wingspan
is
30 to 50,000 copies a year for a while.
Eternity?
And he doesn't have to do any. I mean, he is putting out expansions for Wingspan. We have a subscription for that.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't have to do anything. Same with Dead of Winter. It's been out forever, and it still sells. Like you still see that all the time. So all that said, we talked to Colby. He's talking about bringing Summoner Wars back. He's talking about minimum viable audience and being able to make these games. So the cameras go off, and then we start a conversation, right? It's like, hey, Summoner Wars, we love Summoner Wars, but we really love Ashes, right? Like Ashes was just hit at a right time, and it's just a game that we thought was phenomenal. And it feels like the kind of game, like Summoner Wars kind of ran its course, and I think hearing him talk about 2.0 gets me excited because I want to see it.
Yeah,
he talks about like there's definite things he's wanting to change. But Ashes felt like a game that was just eventually failed from circumstance, and not because of the game or, and there were some development question marks, but like...
The Owls. I remember that commentary on the Owl game. We were just
literally Gen Con 2016.
And then he's going to discard a card from hand, and then he's going to discard a card from hand, and we're just like, these Owls.
I think everything happening at Gen Con 2016 was kind of the end note for that game for me, right? So it was the pre-selling of the stuff, allocation, and then also we filmed that game and did the commentary, and it was just like, this is not...
this isn't the Ashes I was expecting.
This isn't the Ashes I was sold a year ago, right? This is not good. So we started talking and had a bunch of conversations, and that leads us to here actually throwing back. And I'm super excited to finally be able to say this, which is we've partnered with Plaid Hat to bring Ashes back. And we're doing this through a totally new way of publishing a game called Player-Driven Development.
Player-driven
production. Yeah. The PDP, getting it mixed around. So, Stephen, tell me how this works.
All right, so this is how this is going to go. It's a super simple system. So, you guys, a lot of you are probably very familiar with our subscription service. So, all that this means is it's a subscription that will continue to produce products if there's enough subscribers to meet the production threshold for Plaid Hat. So right now, just straight up, that number is 1,000 people. So if 1,000 people sign up for the Ashes 1.5 subscription,
which I'm going to link to right now,
it will go into print and it will be sent to those subscribers. And as long as that many people continue to stay subscribed, expansions will continue to be produced once every quarter. So about every 3 months, you'll get a double Phoenixborn expansion. We'll go ahead and finish off with the final Magic type. We'll continue to produce products for the game. Everything that comes out is going to be at that $29.95 basically price point, including the first product, which is going to be an upgrade pack for Ashes that will take about 30% of the Ashes 1.0 card pool.
Of this big old stack.
Rebalanced, slightly redesigned, cleaned up a lot of the language and any of the triggers that were weird, focused on the main action, the side action over passive abilities and those kinds of things. And we'll get any current Ashes collection caught up to 1.5. And then after that, it's just expansions every quarter as long as there's enough subscribers on deck for that. So all you got to do is go over and sign up for the subscription. And if we hit that number, of course, we'll let you know. Things will go into print. This is a project that Plaid Hat's been working on for months at this point, with the hope that people out there will actually heed the call and actually come in and back this idea. So like I said, it's super simple. 1,000 or more folks signing up for that subscription, the game will start getting printed, and then after that, we'll get expansions every quarter as long as folks want them. I mean, that's the best we can do.
There's a ton of questions coming in chat. So Plaid Hat's actually on their web store. They're running a promotion where all the previous 1.0 stuff is actually on sale, so you can get all that from them. If you sign up, the first thing you're going to get is that 1.5 upgrade kit, which is going to replace about 30% of the content. And
that's right.
There's a lot of, they're making a lot of, literally we talked to Nick, who was the lead playtester of the original game, who's now the lead developer of 1.5.
Right.
And Ashes. We're actually going to be showing an interview in a second with them, which I'm excited to show you. And every answer is just straight fire on what they're changing. And
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's
absolutely perfect.
We're very excited, honestly. And so we'll also be doing this week's Covenant cast. We're going to be talking about this PvP model and why it makes sense and why it fits Ashes. And there's a whole lot of reasons for essentially the reality is like, without something like this, it's very difficult for Plaid Hat to bring this game to market sustainably. And this lowers that barrier so much, and it just reduces so much of the risk for someone like Plaid Hat. And you can imagine, basically knowing that there are the subscribers signed up ready to go means that the money he/Colby/Plaid Hat's investing in development is not going to go to waste, and you're not taking any inventory risk. There's a whole bunch. So we're going to dive fully into that. I've seen a lot of questions as well coming in as far as
so one of the main things that internationally, the best that we can do on that front, of course, we can serve subscriptions internationally forever, right? Like shipping products overseas, a product like this is probably 15 to 20 bucks in shipping, depending on where you are in the world. And we're happy to do that, and that would count, obviously, towards the subscriber count that we need for these products. Now, we're personally, as a company, working on making that much easier for our international audience that is actively in development right now in terms of fulfillment in places that are not the U.S. So as that continues to happen, it'll be easier for international customers to engage with this kind of a service. But right now, we don't really have a mechanism to make the shipping not what it is, but you're absolutely more than welcome to join the subscription service. And then if you want to get the old products for 1.0 and kind of get caught up to where you need to be, they are on Plaid Hat's store. So we're not going to be selling any of those previously released products. The only thing we're going to be running through this is the subscription service. So the products will come out, they'll get shipped to subscribers, and then anything that's left over will be Plaid Hat's domain to do as they like with.
It's also worth noting, while we're not offering like domestic shipping internationally, I know Plaid Hat is working to have these products show up through standard distribution, through the standard retail networks, but that is something we are actively working on so that people can subscribe and we can serve worldwide.
That's right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to about a 30-minute Zoom interview that we did with Isaac and Nick and share that with you guys. So we're going to do that here right now. We'll be back. When we come back, we'll start playing some Ashes. We'll talk through the system. We'll give a little bit more of a tutorial about the game and kind of rediscover it for ourselves too, because there's a lot of Phoenixborn that we've been missing that we will dive into. So stay put and enjoy. All right, so we have just found out that Ashes may well get a second shot with an Ashes 1.5 reboot. We're here with Isaac Vega, was the lead designer of Ashes 1.0, and then also Nick Conley, who is now the lead developer, was the lead playtester. Thank you guys so much for being here. I just want to start with you, Isaac, because you came down here for Ashes Weekend, what seems like decades ago, but it was not too long ago. And we had a great time, great weekend, tons of incredible games of Ashes being played at that point. And that was when you dropped the Rin section, those two Phoenixborn that came out. What does it feel like? How is it for you to see that this game might get a second shot?
Well, Ashes has always been near and dear to my heart. I've I loved working on that project when I was first initially thinking about it, and seeing the development that it has taken throughout the entire course of that game, and the fandom and the connection that I've been able to have with other people around that game, the friendships that I've seen come from that game, the people that I've been able to meet, interact with, people that we've been able to hire because of that game. And it's just been so special to me what Ashes has been able to do. And I have always hoped and dreamed that eventually it would continue past its eventual falling off, like with what ended up, we announced, I believe, last year that it was coming to a close. And I was always hoping that someday it'll come back, and I did not expect it to be this soon. To tell you the truth. So to see it come back, and Colby so enthusiastic to go ahead and see the game be brought back to life now that Plaid Hat is independent again, has been really nice to see. I've been really excited about a lot of the stuff that Nick's been working on, and to see some of the characters that I've always hoped getting a little bit more focus and being brought back to life, and just some of the errors of first time development of an LCG and these kinds of card games being fixed, and hopefully seeing the fandom kind of revitalized with it is really hopeful for me. So I'm super excited and very hopeful that it could really kind of have the chances that I feel like there was so much ups and downs throughout the beginning of the course of Ashes being out in the public. And I'm hoping now that Plaid Hat is going to be on its own. It's more stable. There's going to be a lot more focus and ability to bring it to the audience in the way that they're hoping to see it continue, and having it have really good support and really good just upkeep with the amount of care that's gone into the design moving forward. So I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it.
Now, a quick question, Isaac. Some people watching may not be super familiar with Ashes or you as a designer. So where does Ashes, I may be totally wrong in this, but in my head, for some reason, you mentioned it was your first kind of expandable card game design experience. Where does this sit in your kind of design catalog of things you've made, your portfolio? That's a better way. I was searching for the word and I couldn't find it.
Ashes was the fourth game I ever released. It was released after Dead of Winter, year after Dead of Winter in 2015. And since then I've designed quite a few more games. I've been sticking to about one a year since initially starting off in, I believe, 2013 was, or 2012. I don't remember. Anyways, it's been 10 years. And I have about 9 games since then.
That's nice. Fantastic. Nick, I was going to pop over to you. So you were the lead playtester, as I understand it, for Ashes all throughout kind of that space in 1.0. And now you're coming in as lead developer and actually getting to make or implement changes that I assume you may have previously otherwise just kind of suggested or maybe didn't. And now I've seen that, things out in the wild and said, oh, maybe we didn't catch that one. So what's it like for you to jump into this role and have a real formative ability with this game?
It's so exciting. This is the best job ever. I'm just really excited to have a chance to address some of the things in Ashes that were formerly untouchable, whether it was a rules thing or just with so many cards written or printed in a certain way or doing a certain thing. We can go back to the drawing board on so many more things and try out new ideas after kind of having several years of experience with the game and with the system and this whole card pool. There's been a lot of exploration already done in the system, and this is just a great time to try some new approaches to things.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be about 30% or so of the original card base that's going to get kind of a revamp or a rejuvenation. Mm-hmm. Is there anything in particular? Can you name one thing, one concept, one rule, or even one card that you always kind of had your eye on that you thought, man, this could just be a little bit different, a little bit better, it'd make the whole game sing?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges I think players had when playing Ashes at any level was kind of the timing resolution of things. Um, we ended up with a lot of cards with triggered abilities, which basically say when some event happens, do another thing. And with so many of these cards being on the table because of the way Ashes has the spell board, you have a bunch of spells ready to go at any time. You have a bunch of units with abilities ready to go at any time. Just at an instant, you could have this domino effect of so many triggered effects. And while those are pretty common things to have in card games, it makes a lot of sense, of course. When you have too many of them and a system that's not really ready to handle that, it just gets really overwhelming. So I'm looking to streamline a lot of those triggered abilities into activated abilities that really focus on one of the core mechanics of Ashes, which is the main action and the side action. The game already has this built-in back and forth a lot. You take 2 actions on your turn, and there's 2 different types. You have the main action and the side action. So you already have a really dynamic back and forth interaction between your players. So instead of ready spells having those triggered abilities, I use the old example, Chant of Revenge for this. It's an Ashes card. It says when one of your units dies, deal a damage to another target, which is really simple. It's a pretty basic effect for a card game, but changing that to a system where it doesn't happen the instant the unit is destroyed, and then creating that domino effect. Instead, it can charge up basically by putting a token on it. And then on your turn, you can now use one of your side actions to activate the effect that you got from meeting the condition at an earlier point.
You don't know how much that makes me excited. That's like the best answer possible.
Dying over here.
So
that is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
That makes me want to ask a question, and I'm curious to get both your takes on this. On the podcast recently, on our podcast, we do a weekly podcast called the Covenant Cast, and we're doing a mini series called How to Ruin a Game. And there's a lot of ways to ruin a game.
Ashes hasn't been featured yet. I'll have you know.
It will be featured. It's going to be prominently featured, as you can imagine, this week.
Awesome.
But the first episode we did, we talked about what we call first principles. So we talk a lot about the DNA of a game, the fundamentals of a game. What is it that makes a game the game, right? The game that you get into, the game you obsess about, and how over time a lot of designers, to keep things interesting, will push a design and add new things until eventually the game that's being played doesn't feel or look like the game that people fell in love with up front. So for both of you, and take whoever goes first.
I want to start with Isaac.
I want to start with Isaac. So
let's see if we have some disagreements.
I'm just curious. I think that's a really good example. Is why I bring it up that you mentioned, which is like one of the core things that makes Ashes, and why I think it was so notable, particularly in 2015 when we first ran into it. There's a lot of reasons it was notable, but one of them was this distinct, like, I go, you go action back and forth. And then the further you get away from that, the less it feels like Ashes to me. So that might be one of the first principles that we call them. But I'm curious what you think the unchangeable qualities of Ashes that makes Ashes are.
What do you think, Isaac?
Interesting. So because I've kind of handed over, I've really allowed Nick to see, hey, you're the one who has a brain that functions in this way. Because the truth is that when I came to design Ashes, I designed Ashes as my kind of response to other card games that I was like, why does this work this way? And why does this work this way? And I just didn't like these other functions. But I wasn't necessarily thinking so much about, oh, I didn't see how this could lead to this problem and this problem and this problem. That's where I needed brains like Nick and our other lead playtester at a time, Bob, as feedback in order to have that kind of process and thought. And it's like, every single time we add something, it creates this domino effect that just has so many different possibilities. And with trying to make the game as interesting as possible, you want to add these new effects and these new openings and these new windows in which able to do interesting things and create interesting dynamics and make each of the characters unique and the card play unique. So for me, I'm really open to anything that would make people like Nick and other playtesters very excited to play the game again. The process for me, the things that I need to see stay the same, is that the integrity behind how the characters worked, how the card styles worked, obviously I still want the spell board and the dice and all of these aesthetics that make ashes, and the main action and side action way of they function and them going back and forth, I still feel is core to what Ashes belongs. But all the little tweaks in between are completely game. And I feel like Nick has very much found all of the issues that those little interactions can cause, and streamlining it in a way that makes Ashes more pure and more of what Ashes was intended to be in the beginning. I feel like it would have been this if I had an entire team to develop Ashes from the beginning. But now that we have so much experience, so many people coming in, so many people that know what Ashes is and the intention of what they want Ashes to become on board to make this happen, it really helps hone down and make Ashes still its own unique thing, but at the same time just a heightened level of it, and a way that I feel has also become simpler and easier for new people to come on board. So I'm everything is possible. I'm a person that is always taking his designs and it's like, nope, I'm gonna rip them in half and throw them in the trash, and we're gonna start over and do whatever. So I mean, I'm not adverse to anything changing, but I think all of the changes that have happened so far are still very much in line to the core of what people want from Ashes. So I'm very
Isaac,
happy with those changes.
Can I ask you real quick? You said that Ashes was a kind of a counterpoint to what you had seen in card games in the past. Can you dive into that a little bit of like what you were trying to do differently or why you thought it was worth doing differently?
So for me, one of the things that was very hard with a lot of the collectible card games that I grew up with, and that a lot of people that were very popular and still are very popular to this day, was the level of entry was very difficult for a lot of people. For me, growing up low income in a low income family and household, I wanted to make sure to make a card game that was self-contained, that had a lot of possibilities in one box, that had the ability to deck build almost completely freely between characters in order for you to kind of create something that was unique to you, and for everybody to have access to all of these things. So that was step one. I wanted to make sure that was the case. The other thing is that I hated mana buildup and having to take so many turns in order to feel like a powerful character. I wanted my players to feel like they were powerful from the very beginning. So that's what the creation of the first 5 kind of came into play, the creation of the dice as usability, as your mana pool, essentially, to be able to pay for your cards and do what you wanted to do. I always thought it was ridiculous that characters had to, like, I am this powerful person. That is the narrative of what I'm telling the players. You are a powerful person. You have an understanding, and you're going to fight. So come into this fight a little bit prepared. So I definitely wanted to have that feeling of, like, I'm starting off with, my best footing and the things that I want to do, because so many of these other types of games, you would build the perfect deck, and then you draw the worst possible combination of cards and your deck would completely fall apart. And I didn't want people to have that feeling. I wanted people to have the feeling, if I built something, I'm going to see that take place. I'm going to see that come to life because I spent all this time, all this effort putting this together. And it may not work out exactly like I was hoping, but it's going to work out somewhat the way that I was intending it for it to go. So I wanted those aspects to take place, but there still needs to be that push and pull of chance, which the dice helped out with a lot. Also, the push and pull of, like, being able to manage the situation, seeing the board in front of you. You don't want everything to be so cookie cutter and understood. You want to have that drama of, like, oh my gosh, any decision that I make is going to lead to a possible interesting pathway. So you want to be able to still see those things kind of randomly happen, which still has some random chance in Ashes to create some of that drama. But those were really the biggest things that I was trying to fix, because I think with a lot of people, they put so much time and love and care into developing the characters and their decks and what they want to see come out of it, that I want to see when they hit the table, they're able to do that, and that was my biggest thing.
So Nick, hearing all of that, what you've taken probably, it seems like maybe a more nuanced look at the game. Isaac's kind of bringing the big ideas, and then you're saying, well, I don't think that'll exactly work very well given these 20 other cards. So what would you say are kind of those first principles, the things that you feel are so essential to Ashes that if you were to remove them, it wouldn't be Ashes Rise of the Phoenixborn anymore?
Yeah, so to me, the dice system is just sacred of Ashes. Both players have 10 dice of different magic types in their pools that you roll each round, and depending on the symbols you roll, you can cast those, or you can spend those to cast your different spells and summon your different creatures. And one thing that I think we've actually been able to enhance about the dice system was changing and removing some of the ways Ashes 1.0 interacted with each other's dice pools. So the fundamental disruption in dice was the illusion dice power in original Ashes that let you spend one of your dice to pick one of your opponent's dice and remove it for the round, which was very powerful and very disruptive, and I think unintentionally prevented players from being able to play some of those things and like kind of meet that dream that Isaac was talking about of being the powerful character and I can do what I want to. And because this illusion magic could disrupt your opponent so much, you couldn't get as creative or expressive with your dice builds, because if you had one of a certain color of magic, it could be taken away at any time, and then you lose all access to that type for that round, which can be pretty devastating. So in Ashes 1.5 coming up, we are getting rid of any form of straight dice exhaustion of your opponent's resources. So you won't be controlling it that way.
You're saying all the right things.
Oh my gosh,
we literally we played a game last week just so we could refamiliarize ourselves, because the last time I think I truly was active in playing was that summer of 2016, probably like after Ashes weekend and whatnot. And we played, and then like I remember I had because I had decks built that I had never taken apart, and so we were playing, and I had 2 dice of one color, and then I had 4 and 4 of 2 other colors. And Steven had the illusion dice, and he hit 2 of the symbols to remove my dice. And I was looking at my hand, and I was like, well, I need this 1 die, or I can't play 3 of these cards. And then he was like, I'll take that one away. And I was like, oh. And then he's like, I'll take that one away. So a really good illusion player, I assume, the game could get way too control-y. And so then instead of doing something, you're just preventing your opponent from doing something. Which
Absolutely.
The thing I love about Ashes is that back and forth of, I'm controlling you by putting something in your way that you have to deal with, not stopping you from doing the thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, there's a lot more to talk about with the dice system. So we still want players to be able to interact on like the play space of dice, but in a much less punitive way. So the illusion dice power is going to be changing to affect the faces of your opponent's dice. So
Nice.
The dice on Ashes have 3 different faces on them. They all share basic magic on them, and then they start to differentiate into their different classes of magic. And then there's the lucky 1 side on the die, which is your power side, which lets you play the best cards of your class of magic. And they also have an innate ability themselves. So getting those power dice are really powerful. So the illusion dice power now will spin down 2 of your opponent's dice 1 stage. So the power dice goes down to class, and then a class die would go down to a basic. So you can still interact with your opponent's options like that, and force them to find ways to fix their dice to play what they want to, but you're not just outright saying you're losing access to charm magic or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything beyond the dice themselves you would say that kind of speak to the essence of the game? Because one thing that Zach and I were musing about, I guess, a couple of weeks ago was like thinking about how much Ashes actually seemed to do right from the start. I mean, you look at it, it's a game that has like, pre-constructed decks as expansions, basically, which was seen as a revolution for Marvel Champions. But it's like, well, Ashes have been doing that forever. You got rid of the card templating was gotten rid of, which we've been told is impossible. But it's like, no, you don't have these black borders and these little small art pieces that you have to deal with. You've even got the battlefield where you don't have to worry about a giant board state getting crazy out of control. So hats off to you for that, Isaac. But so Nick, do you anything in that vein that you see as essential?
Yeah, so nice of you to bring up Battlefield. I think that is a really core part of Ashes, where each Phoenixborn character that you have can field a different number of units, and that's part of a balance thing between each character. So larger battlefields can build up big swarm attacks, or small battlefield characters can't quite defend against those big attacks, and they have to find ways to clear up space on their battlefield to make sure they can keep the units coming, because they can't just keep putting out new ones. So something we saw happen a lot in Ashes 1.0 that I thought could lead to negative play experiences were these battlefields clogging up with units and kind of bringing play to some stalemates, where neither player wants to take the first go at exhausting any of their units, whether it's through battle or effects. So we've made a couple of changes to the battle system of the game to kind of help alleviate some of this clogging of the battlefields.
All right. I can't wait to hear that one.
Yeah.
So it seems like if I were kind of outlining at least what's been discussed so far, from what Isaac said, right, there's like macro level, like ease of entry into a game, which will maintain the same vibe, even in 1.5. But really, from like a design perspective, you want the characters to feel awesome from the first turn. You want the characters to feel unique and like they're their own characters. You want the dice to be super relevant, and the choice of the dice colors that you're using to be super relevant. You want the action back and forth, like it's you do one thing, I do one thing, back a lot less reactive gameplay, a lot more in that kind of action system. And then what was the other thing?
Not clogging the battlefield.
Not having these like stalemate board states. Again, that's part of the pushing for the interactivity of the game. So is there anything else? That's a pretty good list, honestly. Like that.
Yeah, that's kind of a dream list.
That's a pretty good structure.
If I could put it together myself, that is about everything I could ask for, I think. Any surprises, Nick? Anything you got in your back pocket that you think players will be really excited about? What about the mount rules? Are the mount rules staying as they were? I've heard a lot of players say that was kind of a.
I had no idea there were like dinosaur mounts. Until recently. Anyways,
the car is amazing.
Yeah, that deck's a super fun theme. I mean, putting your allies on giant dinosaurs and swinging in for big damage is such a fun design challenge to do. But yeah, admittedly, they did end up a little bit more complex than I think was necessary. So the mounts are getting a rules change. Basically, the way they work is if you have an unexhausted ally on your battlefield, you can use your mount spell to flip the ally face down and put a dinosaur on top of them. So you have this super mount unit. And the way mounts used to work is when the mount would be destroyed, the ally could come back into play exhausted or wounded. So it could kind of like continue the battle or pull back. But part of the timing issues that we were experiencing in the original rules system gave us some really unintuitive expressions of this mechanic. So it's simplifying down to just when the mount is destroyed, the ally goes back to your hand, which is nice and easy to do. And it also opens up this extra synergy for your allies with effects when they enter play. You can keep doing those effects and keep mounting them up. So I think they ended up as like a pretty fun, easy to use unit that are really cool.
Awesome. Hey, Isaac, I want to throw it back to you real quick. Just kind of, what's your dream of what Ashes could become, right? So like if this goes really well, let's say the 1,000+ people sign up and everything's good to go, and the game's in print and it continues to grow, and it keeps releasing expansions. Like if you could see a couple of years into the future, what would you hope for?
So I remember walking through Gen Con the year that Ashes released, and I was talking to one of the members of Z-Man, and I was telling them, look at that poster up there. It was a huge banner, huge banner hanging up above the Gen Con doors, and it was for Magic the Gathering. And it's like, that's what I want Ashes to be one day. And I know that's still huge. That's still pie in the sky. But I'm like, dream big or go home. Like dream big. You know, I would still love to see Ashes become something like Magic, where it's people know about it. Kids in middle school are discovering it every year. You know, it's something that's happening all the time, and I would love that to be the case, because I had so many moments and so many stories. I had game store owners come up to me in low income areas, and it's like, my community loves this game. They're able to buy it, they're able to play it, and they can't always afford all of the other types of games that are out there and that are trying to, you know, get as much money out of the consumer as possible. And I would love to see Ashes become an alternative to that. You know, for me, Ashes was about to be done a year ago, you know, and for it to come back is just amazing gravy. And I hope for it to, you know, if it just has the amount of community that it had last time, the amount of engagement that it had last time, that would still be amazing for me, because I saw the amount of friendships that came from that. Like I went to someone's wedding that I met through Ashes, and it's all of these people come together because of Ashes that were there, and that just meant so much to me. It meant absolutely so much to me. So to see just those little interactions take place is enough. But I would still love to see it become something that's enormous and become something more. So if it's possible, why not dream for it? But we'll see. You know, I'm just excited. I'm just excited to see what the potential of it could become. The fact that it's still been something that excites you guys, it means a lot to me. You know, and hopefully it's still exciting for a big part of the community. I've seen a lot of Ashes fan-created content since it went down a year ago, which has been really cool. New Phoenixborns that fans have released, and I never dreamed that would be possible. And seeing more and more people just being able to express themselves through something that I created is feels really good. And I really am hopeful for the potential future.
Well, let me tell you, so we've been doing a ton of these throwback streams. We've been doing games all throughout the 90s and 2000s, and of course, modern games as well every week. And it's so striking how ahead of its time and how truly kind of underground revolutionary that game was. And I didn't even really appreciate it at the time. But when we now see it in the context of this timeline of, you know, the very beginning to where we are now, it's like it really stands out as something that was a notable flag in the ground for design and aesthetics and characters, just the whole thing. So it's pretty amazing to kind of see how awesome it ultimately is and was at that time, and to bring it back now is fascinating. And the thing is, it still holds up. It's still ahead of its time in so many ways, which is exciting for us. I mean, that's really impressive that you're able to do that, Isaac. I was going to say, Nick, too. I mean, it's in your hands, right? I mean, you feel you got the pressure on you now. So a couple of years later, what is your ideal, result for this Ashes 1.5 effort?
I mean, I would be so happy to see just communities coming back together around this game. I mean, I've met some of my closest friends and the coolest people specifically through Ashes. And I just want to keep interacting with those communities. I think it's such a great group of people that centers around these lifestyle games. And I just want to see that continue and to be able to contribute to growing the game that has created such a great group. It's just such an honor. Like, I can't believe I get to do this. This is the best. And yeah, just a dream come true.
I think that's fantastic, honestly. For us, this is such a privilege to have a chance. Like we said earlier, not a lot of games get a second chance. And as we're looking back at all these games from the past 20 or 30 years on these streams, it's clear there's something special going on with Ashes on a lot of different layers. And, we were there when it was happening. We'll be talking about it on the podcast this week. Of all the things Ashes got right, it's unfortunate the things that I think actually caused it to kind of go off the rails had really little to do. You see so many games getting the fundamentals wrong, and then the execution and the after and the business side and the production and everything going on that side. You don't even get to that chance because the beginning was bad. But there is something special going on with Ashes. And, you know, I think back, one of my fondest memories is Ashes Weekend. That was an incredible event. A lot of great people. Isaac was here. I mean, it was just fantastic.
You guys were here.
And looking at all these cards, and like after things started going down and everything was happening with Ashes, I really stopped paying attention. And then now looking back through cards, it's like the amount of content out there. And then like even doing this interview or talking with you guys, it's been fantastic, because everything you're saying is the things we're identifying that these older games got wrong, right? So it is rare for a game and a community to have a second chance, and then for us to have some sort of part in this is just a total honor. So I'm so happy, and I'm very confident based on everything I've been hearing in this conversation specifically, in the potential and future of this game. And then I assume a bunch of people watching this are going to feel the exact same way, and they're going to be excited about this and hopping on board. So I'm hopeful that we can you know, play our part and help you guys and help Plaid Hat bring this game back. I think of all the games we played, the games that deserve another shot, this is high on the list, right? So it's a total honor, and I'm excited to see what you guys do with it. I'm excited to see all the cards that you change for 1.5 and the rules changes and the clarity.
It's exciting stuff.
And excited to see where you take it after that.
I was going to say, before we get out of here, Isaac, I'm curious, what are you getting up to these days in terms of design? Like, we haven't even asked, I guess we should. What is your role in Ashes 1.5 at this point? Are you a loving observer, or do you have a voice in the process?
So I'm still involved as far as like the generation of characters, some assistance with art direction, and me and Nick communicate often, and we're talking about the changes. But really, it's in Nick's hands as to what we're seeing throughout all of the changes from the backlog. Moving forward, I would like to be, kind of still like a little bit of a guiding hands, but I also understand that the expertise that Nick brings to the table and the understanding of the card pool is beyond what I am able to bring to it right now. And he has such a mind for this process. For me, like, it's always been a creative outlet. I love designing new characters. I love designing new combos, new decks, and things like that. Not saying that that's not a potential for my future, but I'm kind of in and out on that aspect. Nick is really the driving force moving forward, and I'm so glad that he's a part of this team, because he's amazing at this aspect of it, and he really has the mind for being able to see those issues that will come up before they end up becoming issues, and fixing all of the issues that were in the past. So I'm so glad to have him on the team, and I'm always going to be a cheerleader in the background as well, moving forward. And being independent now gives me the flexibility to be as involved or as not involved as I need to be. Right now, having stepped away from Plaid Hat, I've decided to take a little bit more of a background seat in this role, because I need to focus on building up another part of my career, another part of my future. But I still definitely want to have some control and some feedback, give some feedback as to how it's moving forward, because I am still very connected to Ashes.
Well, Isaac, we're super happy to hear that you're going to be involved in whatever way you will be involved, and truly wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
You definitely deserve it, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. And Nick, good luck. It sounds like it's in very good hands. You're saying all the right things, so we're super excited. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with us today. And let's do it. Ashes 1.5. It can happen. I think it will happen.
Rising from the
ashes.
If anything is right in the world, let's do it. So thank you guys, and we will cut on back to the stream.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
And we're back.
Wow.
It's actually happening.
It's so surreal. I really don't believe it. So we saw a ton of people in chat hopping on, catching the video late. A lot of questions. So we're just going to answer a few of those, and then we're going to start playing some games. And then as we go, if you have questions, obviously we're happy to answer them. So one of the questions, both new and old players, Jagged saying, can we get a recap? I came late. Yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown, and then I'll answer some of these questions. So we've partnered with Plaid Hat Games to bring Ashes back, and we're doing this where people can.
We hope it's coming back.
Well, the goal is to come back, right? If enough people sign
that's
up through our subscription for Ashes to get this back in production, we need at least 1,000 people signed up. It's kind of the minimum viable audience vibe. But you sign up, as long as there's people signed up, literally quarter releases
Can you hit
forever.
him with the link? for the sign up.
Yeah.
So it's a subscription sign up, and what this basically is, it costs nothing. There's no contracts, no fees, no nothing. Basically, you just go through the checkout process. You save your payment method as you go through that, and then assuming that we hit 1,000 or more subscribers, we'll have a big celebration, of course. And then we'll also, that will signal the game going back into print. And once that happens and the product is ready, then we'll charge everybody who's a subscriber the $29.95 and ship you guys out the 1.5 upgrade pack.
And I see people asking about international. So you can sign up internationally. It's international shipping and whatnot, but Plaid Hat's also working with international distributors to distribute that through retail like normal. We're also working to be able to serve in other countries, other regions through our subscription service, so stay tuned for that. Another note, people kept asking, like, apparently the shipping cost seems expensive. So part of that is that the first product we're sending through the subscription is the 1.5 upgrade pack, and this kind of answers a lot of different questions. I saw people asking, if I already own it, what do I need to buy? If I'm new, what do I need to buy? So the 1.5 upgrade pack is this big pack of cards. It's very heavy, which is why the shipping is so expensive on that first thing. When we get to standard releases, which is 2 Phoenixborn decks in a shipment of a subscription, that shipping is going to go down. Like, that pack is a lot of cards, because 30% of all the cards in the game plus are getting redone, basically. So, like, they're updated to address all the problems that Nick was just talking about in the interview that we did. So,
and it's important to understand, I think, on that note. So if you own the current Ashes collection, you have the 100% of the cards currently. This is $30 for 30% of that card pool, rebalanced, rewritten, cleaned up, etc. So basically, if you have all of those cards, you're paying $30 to get all the way into 1.5, and then you don't have to buy anything else. And the expansions will continue to come out quarterly.
If you're new, Plaid Hat has all the previously released 1.0 products on their website, and those are going to be at a discount until they're gone. And I assume once they run out of those, they'll be actually reprinting those, and those won't come through a subscription. We're not going to serve the old products at any point. If you sign up, it's only forward-facing, basically. But also the upgrade pack is interesting, because even if you're a new player and you just buy a core set, that upgrade pack is going to come with 30% of the card pool across all of those products. So you actually have a much wider collection than you would from just buying a core set. And then you can obviously pick and choose the expansions that you want. There are 2 expansions particularly, Song of Soaksend and Law of Lions. Those come with these, like, I'm going to grab it.
Yeah.
Nice storage boxes for the game and they also particularly come with the dice. So there's 2 dice that don't come in the core set, and that's how you get those. So if I was a new player, I would definitely start with the core set plus those 2, and then any of the Phoenixborn that are appealing to you in general from the way they look and whatnot, you can add those as well. But that's all you need. So literally a core set plus the subscription means that you're going to have a ton of cards as soon as that first thing comes out, and you can play in the meantime with your core set while you're waiting on that subscription to hit, and it'll go from there.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I just get a core set and subscribe, and then you're done. I mean, if you're just looking for the easiest way to start the game, I think that's how I would do it.
I'd probably get those 2 expansions that come with the dice and the storage. Like, I think
if you want,
you don't have to, but
you probably should.
Like, if it were me, that's where I would start, and then if you dig the game, you can go from there, obviously.
Yeah, and so one of the things too is, like, a lot of the information about how this is going to go through development, in the next 6 months or so, in terms of what Plaid Hat's going to do, with old product lines or with a retooled starter or anything like that to help new players get in. That's something I don't think anybody knows, because nobody knows if this is even going to work. So, if there's not enough subscribers to go back into print, then there's no need to speculate and kind of try to figure out as a company all the different things that you're going to do as far as the products that you're going to make. So I think basically everybody's just kind of waiting to see, is this actually going to manifest? Is there enough demand out there from you guys for this game, and to see new expansions for this game? And if so, then I think that changes a lot of the business decisions for Plaid Hat as to their future plans for products they might develop as well.
Yeah, because of course, the more successful it is, the more resources they're going to be willing to invest in making sure it continues to be successful.
Yeah.
Stuart asking a really good question here. He says, can you bundle up subscriptions to save on postage? You can.
Yes.
So you can literally sign up for 5, 10, 20, 100 subscriptions, and those all ship together, and that would obviously save on postage, particularly internationally, because once you get to a certain weight, it has to go for priority, and international priority is not cheap, but the cost of that doesn't go way up the more you add.
It scales very lightly.
It's very lightly. So that's a good way to do it if you're looking at that, and each of those counts as a subscription towards that 1,000, right? So essentially, Plaid Hat needs to know they're going to be making at least that many in order for it to make sense for them to continue investing in development and continue printing. And then it scales up from there, right? I know that they have plans. They're looking at how do you do organized play, and there's a whole thing coming. There's a lot more to cover that we're not going to cover here, but ultimately there's some this product is extremely well cared about from Plaid Hat, and it's really just a matter of how many people jump in to support it or not. And that relates to another question I saw people saying, I don't think I'm going to be able to convince my local store to get in on this.
Can I clarify something
Yeah,
real
go
quick? So, and remember, one subscription for 10 units counts as 10 for our subscription numbers that we need to go into print. So there's no need to do one subscription across 10 different things. If you want to bundle it all with your play group and everybody, one subscription serving 20 players is worth 20 units for us in Plaid Hat as far as the numbers are concerned. So it's really just, we just got to know that there's going to be at least 1,000 of these that people want if we take them to print, and then that's why that's the number that matters.
Yeah, and so on the FLGS front, you're not wrong and also not quite right, because ultimately part of the problem was this game.
But we're in FLGS.
Yeah. So part of the problem with this is that the game went away because there wasn't enough interest and support in the 3-tier system to sustain that. So it's, the reality, we talked about this recently when we talked about collectible games and the model and whatnot. When you have a quarterly release at $30, that's just a really tough sell for any retail store. When, one player walks into Friday Night Magic and plays in a draft and then buys $300 in booster boxes, it's just really hard for local stores to invest in that. So that's why we worked with Plaid Hat to kind of come up with a new way, because there was a lot of interest in this game, and it is great, but it doesn't necessarily make sense to go through that typical 3-tier system. And so this is essentially what resulted.
I mean,
right?
also distribution gets a cut and retail gets a cut, right?
Yeah.
So that as you're chipping away at those margins, the number of products you have to move through that chain goes higher, certainly higher than the 1,000 units that we're talking about. And getting local stores to invest in that, right? Some will, and that's the thing. If you have a local store that wants to support and build a community for Ashes, you should absolutely have them reach out to Plaid Hat. I think they're extremely interested in that as an option, especially moving forward. Once we do get to print, it's like, if you want to have an Ashes community, that's incredible. I think they're going to support stores that want to do that. And I do believe that these products will eventually reach retail shelves if we get to that point, right?
Well, and I think that we'll go in depth on this on the podcast this week, but effectively, I think one of the biggest roles that retail plays for most tabletop games is really a longer tail than the upfront of an expandable game like this. So, if this game is actively in print and there's a bunch of expansions, right now we're not. The only thing we have is a subscription. If you want the old stuff, you got to get from Plaid Hat, and I think retail can definitely play a role there. But step one is making sure that there's enough interest to bring this game back in the first place before everything else happens. And on that note, people asking about the timeline of when the 1.5 upgrade kit would happen. So this has been in development for a while over at Plaid Hat. It's not like once we get that point, then they'll make 1.5. Yeah. So it is well on the way to development, and it's essentially at this time, as soon as we hit that, it'll start a clock, and that clock will hit. And we're probably talking, once we hit the 1,000 people at least, it's months, not like a long time. So, with any luck, if enough people are interested in making this happen, we might have something by the end of the year, which would be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be sick. And it's also worth noting, this is a game that it wouldn't work in, like we were talking about with retail. It's weird in Kickstarter too, right? So a lot of games try to go that Kickstarter route, and it's like, are you going to kickstart a $30 Phoenixborn, a double expansion every quarter? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. And Kickstarter takes a cut of that too. So we're just trying to find a way, for games like this that have that audience that's there, to actually see print and to get to that audience without a lot of the slings and arrows of what some of the current systems are for a game just like this. I mean, it works for.
This is the perfect example.
There's a ton of games that fit these various systems extremely well, but a smaller, expandable card game like this is hard to find its footing. And I think that's why, even like we said with FFG, a lot of their expandable competitive LCGs had similar problems, and they're a larger publisher.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to find a way to make this happen, because we love the game, and we've always thought very highly of Plaid Hat, and it came together. So the first thing we got to see is this going to work? And that's kind of what we're waiting on.
Yeah. Someone's saying, she was saying TC website's down. Let me just make sure that's not true.
Did you guys take our website down? That would be amazing.
It's working for me.
I would actually love that. Yeah. No, we've got infrastructure for days. You kidding me? We pay for that privilege. Okay, more questions. If you guys have anything before we get into playing here, very happy to answer any more questions. We're here on the chat. We will have answers for anything that you might ask. Please do. I saw somebody was saying in the chat that they were looking at bundling their subscription together, and so for their play group, it was 6 or 7 extra units was only an extra $10 or $12 in shipping. So that's definitely the way to go if you have a play group. That's a very good option.
Metroplex asking, what about the time dice? So that the planned release structure, the first thing that's going to come through a subscription is the 1.5 upgrade kit. And again, that's going to replace about 33% of all the content currently in the game. Then the release after that. So once we hit the number, it's rolling, right? We're gonna keep going as long as there's enough people signed up. That development and that train's going to be smooth sailing. But the expansion after that is going to include the time dice, which I think we have. Do we have a preview of what that looks like somewhere?
The time dice? I
Have
don't
we seen
think
that?
so.
I saw something popping up somewhere. But you're like, not me.
Nah, I'd never seen a time dice in my life.
Then after that, that's when we're going to go to what would be the standard structure, right? Which is 2 new Phoenixborn and decks every 3 months. So you just get 2 new decks every 3 months, $29.95. All that's $29.95 each time we charge.
Yep. And you don't, and of course the Phoenixborn expansions that will be produced, they have all the cards, full playsets for everything that you need. So one subscription and you'll be fine. And I saw somebody was asking, do we send an email or anything before we charge for this? So normally with subs, because it's a consistent release schedule as expected, we will charge and then you'll get the email about a week later when it's actually shipping. There's like a lot of reasons to do that. But with this one, we'll definitely let you know that it's funded. We'll give you the timeline that we expect for when that charge would come through. And we'll handle it a little bit differently on the launch because we know that there's a big gap of time between like expectations and having to figure out when that's going to happen. And then once it gets rolling and once it's in print, it'll function like a normal sub. So you'll get charged and then you'll get the shipping label, you'll get a tracking number, you'll get an email that says you've been processed, it's on the way. And then it'll arrive at your doorstep on a release date that doesn't necessarily exist anymore because it releases when it releases, right?
When we ship it. So some good questions coming in. John saying, what's the credentials of the new designers of the game? How do we know it'll be solid and innovative? We did an interview, if you didn't see that, with them on this stream a little bit earlier, and that'll be back when this is up on like YouTube afterwards. But essentially, Nick was the lead playtester in 1.0, and his answers in our interview were incredible. And everything he was saying addresses what I think are some of the core problems. So what we're going to be doing in a second, I saw people also asking like, all this sounds great, but like I've never seen Ashes. What's Ashes? So we're about to play, and you're going to see what it is, but we're going to be playing with 1.0 content. So anytime we see things that we think are probably suspect to needing updated or changed, we'll start the conversation. And there's definitely things, like one of the things in the interview they mentioned particularly was anything that breaks that action system where it's like if I'm reacting to something, it creates these weird chains and these weird things that need to resolve. And so we'll be looking at that, and then over time, hopefully we'll start previewing stuff from 1.5.
Aaron Smith saying, Nick Conley is the man. I used to play with him on a regular basis. If anyone can make the game amazing, it's him. And then just to be clear, I see some comments on Facebook here. Yes, so 1.5 and 1.0 are compatible in the sense that 70% of 1.0 cards are unchanged. Okay, so like if you have the entire collection of Ashes, 70% of your collection is untouched. The other 30% is a $30 upgrade pack to get all of those cards rebalanced, reprinted. And then all of that is good to go. So if you own everything, 70% of it is fully good to go. 1.0 cards don't need changing, rebalanced, or anything like that. And then 30% of those cards were seen as problematic or had issues or created issues. They've been rebalanced, rewritten, kind of redone. And then they will be in the upgrade pack. And that's what the upgrade pack is. It's the 30% of those 1.0 cards repackaged, reprinted, and sent to you.
Mate's asking, is this an entirely new Ashes or just an expansion? So it's technically 1.5, right? It's not a complete 2.0 overhaul, but it is a lot of cleanup. So that first upgrade kit's going to replace, as Steven said, 33% of all the cards in the game. And that's looking to really clean everything up and balance it and make everything that currently exists super balanced and playable and give us kind of a fresh start moving forward.
Chat, you guys are great. Gustav here on Facebook. So with shipping and taxes, I'm basically paying double to get it to Finland. Oh, well, who am I kidding? I'm still in. I mean, you gotta say, I mean, it's pretty phenomenal if we actually just back out, and I've said this a lot, primarily in private, that we can get a product to Finland for $30 is actually, that's pretty impressive in the long scheme of the big ocean,
Pretty cool. Jeff saying, where does all the super nice fan developed stuff stand in this? You have to ask Plaidhead about that. So this is their game. You were mentioning it earlier. I wanted to add where it was basically like, kickstarting this game. That's an option. So one of the realities is like that's a lot of work to do a new Kickstarter every time you want to put something out. And the whole goal of this is to streamline it. And so we're obviously
not in the bad way though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can get streamlined and then just get worse.
Well, it loses its flavor,
Yeah.
But the goal is to basically, make it super easy for them just to know they have players, ready to go, and that they want this stuff. And so when they're developing it, printing it, and whatnot. But what they do with that, ultimately, they're still their own, they're publisher, they're doing their thing. And so, like, the more successful it is, I'm sure the more resources they pour into it. On the flip side, what we're going to be doing is supporting it the best way we can, right? And that'll also be based on how many people are supporting this. And that's
we're going to be streaming it, I'll tell you that.
From content all the way to just social media and everything that we do. So
perhaps Ashes Weekend 2.0.
I'm
post,
ready.
Black Plague 2020.
My goodness, I feel like that first 3 months we're open is gonna be a bash once we are just rolling.
And again, we had a couple of questions, similar questions coming in. So if I were a new player, the things I would focus on are getting a core set right now, and then signing up for the subscription. That'll get you 30% of the card pool, plus all of your core set cards.
Yeah.
So that's all of your dice and your instruction manual and all of that. That's kind of your minimal start point. Then you can just look through the catalog, and so every expansion is a fully playable Phoenixborn deck, and it kind of has a theme to it. So it's similar to Marvel Champions, right? Like, choose the heroes that you like. So in this case, I'd choose a Phoenixborn or two that I might particularly like. I'd buy those expansions, and then I'd have what I want. You don't have to get the whole collection, and you can kind of pick it up as you go along. I imagine some of these things will get reprinted as we go. Again, we don't know because we don't even know if this is going to get off the ground yet.
So I love this. Grant says Ashes Weekend 1.5.
There you go. Yeah.
We also
we'll do it online.
This is a good question. We'll dive in. So James saying, "Hey Team Covenant, can you please tell us what this game is?" Us people being those who've never heard of it. So
let's zoom in.
Ashes, Rise. You want to give me the table shot?
Also, so as far as things being public, the 1,000 or whatnot, we'll report on that like every week on the stream for sure. We don't really have a good mechanism technology-wise to make that a live counter kind of thing, but we will let you know, certainly, at least in like we're 10% there. Where are we now, by the way? Can you see?
I have no idea.
Can you click over to the tab and just see how many slots are left?
Let's see.
That'll tell us.
I need that, like the
You'll see a lot of duplicate products.
What
Don't
happened?
be scared. Bryce is adding all the
okay.
link
Oh,
keys
I get
back
it. I
to
get
him.
it. We are 15% there.
15% of the way.
That's fantastic. That's really crazy.
Keep spreading the word. Let's go.
So before we do dive into this play, I saw another question. There's so many questions. Kaya's saying, does the deck have all the dice you need, or are they only in the core set? So the dice only come in the core set, and then there's 2 expansions, Laws of Lion, Song of Soaksend. Those come with all of the dice in the game, and you don't need any more dice. So the expansions themselves won't come with dice. There'll be a lot of dice to resend people every time. But once you have that, that's why those 3 things are probably the.
They also sell them on site.
By themselves.
You can
so you can actually just buy the dice packs.
Also worth noting, what about stock beyond the 1,000? Are you printing on demand, making extra, etc.? We're not printing anything. We're not handling that. So once the threshold is reached, what Plaid Hat wants to do with that? They might print 2,000, they might print 5,000, they might send them through distribution, they might not. They might partner with local stores to do a one-on-one, individual program. They might send them to international distribution. All of that is unknown at this point. There are talks about what might be the best thing to do, different plans that you could manifest. But the one thing that we know is that the more people that are on the subscription, obviously the more likely that those products are going to get made, and then also probably the higher numbers are going to be out there and available for the world. So it's the number to know general demand for the game and to allow Plaid Hat to forecast and make plans around how they want to handle this game the best in terms of getting it to all the fans out there across the world. So anybody that can subscribe, I mean, that is like literally the number one thing that is supporting, Ashes getting printed, also supporting us and our efforts and what we're doing. And then what happens beyond that, I imagine they'll be printing some. I imagine some will be available, certainly on their web store. I imagine they might be reprinting old expansions too, whenever they run out. All of this is, again, like kind of immaterial until we know that this is actually something that is going to happen. So that's kind of what we're waiting to see. Is this actually going to manifest? Is there enough demand for this? And the subscription is the way that we know that. That's the way that we tell it. One thing that I want to mention about the game, if you haven't seen it, let's go ahead and dive in. Zach's handling some shipping stuff, because we are on the skeleton crew, as you might expect. You can see this is kind of how the game gets set up. So this is your Phoenixborn. This is kind of your character in the game. These cards represent the dice that you're bringing to the table. So Zach's, I'll actually back up like this. And so you choose the dice that you want to bring, the dice represent the magic that you're going to wield in the game. There are currently, I think, 4 base magic types, and then the divine magic, which was brought in with an expansion, and the sympathy magic, which was brought in via expansion. And then there's time magic that was supposed to come out that never did, that absolutely will be released if Ashes gets off the ground here. Maybe, I think it's the first expansion, will be the time magic being added to the game, and I believe that they've said that that's kind of the end of the new magic that we would ever have to learn or have. So that's a cool thing too, is like introducing the final form of magic that was planned for the release schedule of the game, going ahead and getting it as a full kind of complete set, and then releasing new Phoenixborn and new concepts using those same types of magic. So you choose what kind of dice you want to bring, and this is the magic you're wielding, and you also choose your 5-card opening hand. And every card, so if we look at a card, let's look at a card called Shifting Mist, for instance, one of my absolute favorites. It's a great card. So Shifting Mist, you see in the top right corner, it has a little symbol there, and that's the main action. You can see it actually here on our arcane token as well, kind of a play on that symbology. That's your main action. So the main action is your basic unit in the game. If you play Destiny, you know, it's like you get 1 action. Flesh and Blood, you get 1 action point. So you get 1 main action during your turn. Once you use it, then the turn passes over to your opponent, and they get 1 main action. Now, there's a little bit of a difference there. If you look at Demona Odenstar, one of my Phoenixborn here, Phoenixborn of Rayward, very cool place. So you see Demona has a little side action, and it'll be just like, it's Dimona. We'll pull up the right one here, if we can get her in here. Odenstar is the last name, Odin. Has a side action, but the side action is this kind of like upside down triangle. Let me find another card that has it so I can show you this. Let's do, or that's the exhaustion symbol. Let's find, let me look through my deck to find one here. There we go, that's it. So how about Rosefire Dancer? That's maybe a better example of this. Rosefire Dancer is going to have that little, you see that little kind of like 4-pointed symbol. That's your side action, and that gives you kind of a little side thing that you can do on your turn as well. So you get like a main action, and that's your big thing, and then your side action is kind of your little booster action. It usually has little minor effects on the game. And you do that, and then you resolve your turn, and then you go over to the opponent's turn, and it continues to go back and forth from there. So, Zach, how about you and I just dive into this?
Dive into a game?
Yeah.
Also, while I was away, I was looking at the Plaid Hat Games press release for this.
Yeah.
And they show the time dice.
Oh, good.
Breaker
good.
of Faith.
That's
so
what it was,
I saw that. Yeah, okay. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. Some preview image somewhere popped up.
So we'll talk about the dice, too, real quick, so everybody knows. I'll take an example like the illusion magic, for instance. So every dice has sides that have the basic symbol on them. And this is just a basic symbol. And this is always usable, just you can spend it for random things. Usually your cards will ask you to spend basic symbols. Then you have the second version of the die, which is a little more rare. And that's the kind of the upgraded version, the secondary symbol, not the big one, but the one right in the middle. And on the illusion die, that's a mask. Now it counts for any mask needing effects or also basic symbols. So your dice can always count for things lower than their kind of power level. And then the highest power, the 1 side on this guy, or I think it's 1 side, right? Don't we get 1 on the main magic?
Yeah, I think
it's
the
1.
power symbol is the highest one, and there's only 1.
Is
per
the
die.
old wolf head there, and it counts as any ability that needs this particular symbol. Obviously you can use it there. You can also use it as a mask. You can also use it as a basic symbol. And a lot of these, read all of these magic types, also have a special ability. So if you hit the highest form of this magic, you can spend it on your cards and your abilities in the game, but you can also spend it on the illusion magic kind of special ability itself. And so I could cash this in as an example in 1.5. It's going to cash this in as a side action, and I can spin down 2 of Zach's die to a lower symbol type. So I can kind of mess with his dice pool and make it a little bit less efficient for him. So that's how the dice work. So at the beginning of the turn, you roll the dice in, and there are cards that can let you like re-roll and change dice and whatnot. There's also a mechanic to let you do that, which we can
we'll break it down.
Get in while we go.
So the first thing, I'm playing Maoni Viper. Did you already pull her up? We'll see if she pops up on the screen.
Yeah, Maoni, M-A-E-O-N-I.
Yeah, so a few things. I don't know, I was gone. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. What are you dealing with shipping?
Yeah, well, we're the old skeleton crew here. distance officing, so it's just us. I heard a knock at the back door. I had to deal with it.
Accounts receivable.
That's right. Accounts everything right now. Maoni Viper is my Phoenixborn. You'll see a few stats that are important. On the left, she has a battlefield of 3. That means she can have 3 like creatures or units out. And then she has a spell board of 4.
Go ahead.
And that's how many spells she can have out. So like a good example of a spell, I have this Summon Gilder card in my hand. And it's a spell that you put down and it stays in play. It's kind of like a permanent. So basically, one of the nice things about the game is it has a natural cap to how many creatures and like resources you can have on the board. We've been doing a lot of throwbacks where you see that kind of start getting very much out of control, right? So those are those core stats. You'll see in the middle too on this Maoni card, it's got 22 health.
So that's easy.
So the point of the game is to defeat the opponent's Phoenixborn. Even thematically speaking, when you defeat the opposing Phoenixborn, you absorb their powers. So like that's the whole thing. They're all trying to like. It's like I forget that character in Heroes that was doing that same thing, but he would basically
Heroes?
The show Heroes.
Right, that show. Wow,
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that show.
Peter
in
Petrelli.
forever.
Anyways, so and then they typically have an ability on them. So like Maoni has this strike ability. It says after a player is declared attackers, you can spend a resource, place an exhaustion token on this card. If you do, add 2 to the target unit's attack for the remainder of the turn.
That's right.
So that's Maoni, and then the way you start the game, you take your 10 dice, and it's exactly 10. These are your resources, and you roll them. So me and Steven are both going to roll our dice.
That's right. And I see there is some language around like U.S. and Canada. That's not true for us. So international subscriptions will absolutely count for this number for subscribers.
So the thing we're basically looking at when we roll this first roll is who has more of these basic symbols. So it's that like triangle looking with a circle. I got 6.
Oops. I don't know what that was on. Yeah, and the way this mechanic works is genius, right?
It is very genius.
Because it means that whoever rolls worse on their initial dice pool actually gets the tempo advantage for the turn.
That's the disadvantage.
Really cool.
It's a really nice balance mechanic.
Yeah.
So I have more basic symbols, which means I'm going to be the first player. And we're going to represent that with our first player token here from the Arcane token set.
One of my absolute favorites.
It's crazy that it's 4 years later. Most designs
How
I look back
weird.
on, I'm just like, oh man, we've learned since then. And I look at these and I'm just like, yep, still good.
Still good.
So I like to sort my dice basically by color and also by their power level. So I'm going to stack these up, basic, medium.
I like to keep it
I didn't
tidy.
get any of the power dice. I'm going to slide it over so it can be seen. There we go. All right, so I'll start the turn, and again, it's the rule of Ashes 1.0. I haven't seen 1.5, so I'm interested to see what all they changed. But is first 5, you get to choose your 5 opening hand. You choose that after you see what your opponent's Phoenixborn is, so technically you can adjust and whatnot. And then each turn is very simple. I'm going to go ahead and reference the rules compendium to make sure I get this right.
Yeah, is Rodney still watching? Rodney put out a great Watch It Played video on this. We also have a live demo with him at Ashes Weekend, which is a little more run and gun style.
That's a great way of describing it.
If you want to really feel the energy in the
So
room.
the turn structure is prepare phase, player turn phase, recovery phase. So during the prepare phase, we'll roll our dice like we just did. And then you have a discard cards phase. So you can literally discard any number of cards from your hand that you want. Then you draw cards. So this happens at the first of the turn. It's worth noting that. You draw back up to 5. Then during the player turn, you literally get an action and a side action. And you can do them in any order. And we basically go back and forth until we both pass. And if neither of us takes a main action, I'm pretty sure, 99% sure here, that actually ends the turn.
Pass both, yeah.
Yeah, working from reference here.
From muscle memory.
Yeah. There's a handful of things that you can do when it's your turn. You can pay an action cost. So like, let me see if I have one that has that on it. So if I put Summon Gilder back, and you'll see up in the top right corner of this card, it has this symbol. It's like a starburst almost, like a star-looking symbol with a circle behind it. That is the action symbol. So that costs an action to do that. And then you'll see the 1 heart behind it. So to play this card, I have to pay these icons of cost, which I'll go ahead and do. So I'm going to play Summon Gilder. It's going to go into my spell board, and I keep it back here. I'm going to make sure this is all lined up.
Yeah, it bothers me.
I'm a little crooked. It's weird because we're kind of playing it.
We got to play sideways for all of you, but it's worth it.
So I put my spells
We
back
love
here,
you all
and then I'll
so
put my
much.
units in line with my Phoenixborn because that's like my fighting row. But it cost me an action. It cost me a heart, which I rolled 1. So I'll take this and I'll put it in my exhausted pool. And that resource is spent. That was my action. And then now technically I could do a side action. Do I have any? I don't have any. But it's represented by like a diamond. I don't know. I doubt we have the natural magic reference card. But it's got this little like
Side action.
Side action symbol.
4 symboled the little influx diamond.
Yes. So I'm not going to take any side actions. I'm just going to, I played my Summon Gilder, and I'm going to pass the turn to you.
All right.
Oh, by the way, so that's the first thing. You can pay a cost. You can also, I'm just going to walk through what you can do.
Yeah, tell me.
You can attack a Phoenixborn. So your Phoenixborn cannot attack, but your units that you put out and your conjurations
I'm
can.
going to put mine up here.
Yeah. And then you can attack a unit. So like I could send any number of, we'll work through combat in a minute. I can either attack you or I can attack something you have in play. You can also pass, which of course you could do. Side actions, you can pay a side action cost. You can meditate, which means discard cards to change the facings of your dice. So you can discard cards from your spell board, your hand, or the top of your deck. And for every one you discard, you can change the side of a die, which gives me some mild Destiny vibes going on there.
Yeah, you can just change as many as you want
Yeah.
on the turn.
Another side action is the power side of your dice. So you can spend the power side of your dice to trigger whatever that dice magic does. And then that's it. So then the recovery phase, when we get to the end, we'll remove wounds for recover values. Each unit has a recover value. We'll remove any exhaustion tokens, and then we'll exhaust any dice that we want from here to our exhausted pool, but you can leave whatever you want as well. And then we'll pass the first player token. So then we'll loop back around and roll the dice back in that we exhausted, and they'll get new die faces.
What strikes me also, running back through this, is kind of how it also has that Star Wars LCG thing where the exhaustion isn't binary. It's not like on or off. You can have 7 exhaustion tokens on something, and then it will remove 1, remove 1, remove 1. So you can lock something down for multiple turns rather than just exhausting and unexhausting. You have the tokens to just like bury things if you want to.
Yeah.
Which I've always just really appreciated. Okay, let's go then.
All right, so I took my action, and then I'm not going to take a side action. It's over to you.
Okay, let's do Summon Mist Spirit. I'm going to throw that in my spell board. This is a spell that I love so dearly. I have always loved it. Obviously, anybody who's been following the stream knows that I have a bizarre love for water and all things watery. And you notice in the top right of Summon Mist Spirit, it only has one icon, and that is the main action icon. So I'm going to spend a main action to do that. And that's all I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'll pass it back over.
I will, let me make sure. Meditate is a side action.
So yeah, I could meditate at the end of that if I wanted to, but
So that's actually really nice. I didn't.
we're not also, guys, we honestly, Zach and I have never been great at this game. You felt that way, right? I never fully, it's like flesh and blood for me at this point. It's like I always felt like I was on the edge of understanding it truly.
I feel like I was about 3 months of playing away from being like a competent player.
Yeah.
But then like I got derailed with Destiny.
And some people got really good.
So this is cool, right? So you
Terrifyingly
can
good.
meditate as a side action, and then you can play a card immediately.
Yeah.
So you can basically force something through without, because you have this is one of the things they're changing at 1.5. You have that wolf showing, and I think the wolf is the thing that makes me the most mad.
Yeah, it used to move 1 die from here to your pool, but now it's going to spin down 2 of your dice to the lower denomination.
How
of
are
that
you
die.
playing it?
Let's play at 1.5.
All right, 1.5.
Yeah, let's
here
play
we go.
1.5, yeah.
That's way better. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and meditate, and I am gonna discard. Now, also when you run out of deck, this is important because there's only a 30 card deck, right? And when you're out, anytime you would draw a card and you can't, you take 1 damage.
Right.
You don't reshuffle, so you don't lose. You don't like just lose from being milled, but it gets bad.
It gets real
It gets really bad.
So as you mill cards to change your die faces, you're also kind of getting closer to the end game where you're getting wrecked.
Yeah. So I'm going to meditate for 3.
I'll match your style here too.
I'm going to meditate for 3. So I'm doing 3 off the top of my deck. And I'm going to change both of these to frogs. Let me make sure it's both of those. I know I need 3. No, we're only going to do 1. Maybe it is
Like
3.
your style, dude.
I'm definitely doing a frog. I'm also going to change a heart to a snake.
Classic magic.
So there's that. Oh, no. Back up. I'm foolish. I was reading the summoning cost, not the play cost.
Right.
So I'm going to play, as an action, summon Silver Snake, just as an action.
Oh boy, have I seen that spell a billion times.
Indeed you have.
All right, so let's look at what it looks like to summon some creatures. So you see, if I look at Summon Mist Spirit here, now that I have the spell actually on the board, I can begin to use it and summon things with it. So you don't build resources in the game because you start with your 10 dice and they're ready to go every single turn, but you do build your spell board. And so by building my spell board, I basically open up the things that I can do and cast and summon along the way. And I also have allies, and allies are going to be things that I can play from hand that I don't have to summon as a spell. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Summon my Mist Spirit here. You'll notice it says exhaust this as a cost, so exhaustion. Okay.
And that's that second symbol, right?
That's
It's got
right,
The, like,
yep.
the triangle is upside down with the design
With
on
the
it.
eyeball in it.
Yeah.
Very, very terrifying. So I use my main action. I use my exhaustion to exhaust this. I have to pay 1 mask die, so I can pay either of these masks, or I could pay my wolf
Yep.
head
You can always overpay.
if I wanted. I'm not in the business of overpaying, though. I'm not into that. And it says place a Mist Spirit Conjuration on your battlefield. I can spend an additional basic symbol to summon another one when I do that. And I'm a man who loves value, as you well know.
Go for that value,
I'm gonna
as
do it
Eric
again.
Wainwright would
Now,
say.
the basic symbol could be from anywhere. It could be from any type of magic. Basic symbols are all basic symbols.
Yeah,
right?
basically
It's
it's
just
spend a
magic.
die. It could be any die because it can be any symbol. Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and spend it from there.
Don't delete your dice.
Oh, right. I gotta keep them handy.
What was I getting ready to say?
Now I go to my Conjuration deck that's kind of just out in the middle of nowhere. I don't have to shuffle this or keep it. It has all the things that I might summon in the game. And so
That
I
was
get
the
to,
thing I was going to say.
get to throw these Mist Spirits.
So one of my
right out
favorite
here.
things is that you have these conjuration. You have a conjuration deck, and so you'll pre-build this based on the spells you include in your deck and the creatures you might summon. But this is really, at the time, 2 things that felt very clever was, 1, you get to decide your opening hand, so you don't have to clog your deck with cards that you don't need in the late game, and your character starts out powerful. But 2, you also don't have to clog it with a bunch of. There are also units, like ally units, but the conjurations are this little side deck that just sit over here. And so the idea of the game, even when you run out of cards, like, you're not done, because if you have spells out, you can keep summoning stuff, right?
Right.
Which is cool. I like that a whole lot. All right, so you got some Mist
Got
Spirits.
two Mist Spirit. They're just 1/1, as you might expect. They don't look particularly threatening, but they can block attacks. They can also just do a little poke here and there on Mayoni, and I might do it. Yes, that is hilarious. Yeah, it's not a 30% discount on 1.0 or anything. It's 30% of the cards, redesigned, repackaged, sent in a box to you.
Yeah, and as Alex B says, right now Platinum has 50% off all the 1.0 products. That's
Which is insane.
So like core sets, $25 for that core set,
That's insane.
and then the
though.
expansions, I think that makes them like $7 or $8. Like,
They're $750. Yeah.
that's so crazy.
If you're gonna do it, now is the time.
Yeah. Okay. So next, just so you don't get wolfy with me, I'm gonna play Empower. So it's another spell. It costs me an action and 2 leaves. So I spent my leaves. And basically what this is going to let me do is, after I declare an attacker, I can spend a resource and exhaust it, and then give an attacker +1.
And that's cool. So this is an example of a spell that doesn't require, it doesn't conjure anything.
Yep.
It just does something to the battlefield. Yeah.
Yep. And so, with your opening hand, you're basically trying to set up whatever it is you want to have set up for the rest of the game, which is where we're at.
All right. Well, how about this?
Okay, so the core is still full price, but all the expansions are half price. That's crazy.
Totally fair.
Kaya's saying, am I correct in remembering there was a multiplayer format? There is. Yeah, it's built for that.
These guesses blowing
Hard
up
for us
the
to do right
curtain.
now, obviously.
Place the die. I'm looking at my dice power abilities.
You're good.
Refamiliar. While this die is on the unit, +1. So I could buff my little Mist Spirit here. But I'm not. I'm going to do a Sleight of Hand.
You can't see me.
Can't see me. Pull the old John Cena here.
What?
Action spell, discard. So this is one, it's not a ready spell, so I don't put it in my spell book, but I just get to play it. It's like an instant, basically.
Okay.
It has a main action. I've got to pay 1 wolf, which I'll do, and 1 basic symbol, which I'll just pull from my, my ceremonial magic there. And it says draw 3 cards. Well, I like that.
Kaya's saying, Zach plays 2 decks, Steven plays 2 decks. Voila, multiplayer.
That's right.
So apparently, Taylor did the math. Just under $200 for literally everything out in Ashes right now.
Not bad.
That's crazy,
Not bad
actually.
at all.
Given the pile of stuff I'm looking at over here.
Okay, so I'm going to draw 3 cards.
All right, I see your style.
Ooh. Ooh,
right.
ooh, you're going to love that. And that goes in my discard pile.
What's happening?
All right.
All right, next we will now finally take that meditate action. I'm going to meditate for at least 2. Let me see what else I have here. Let's go ahead and go 4. I'm going to meditate for 4. It's a big meditate.
That's a big meditate.
But, I'm looking over there, Mr. Wooly, and I see you. I see you. So I'm going to turn my 2 into frogs here. 2 blue dice, and I'm going to turn 2 of these pink dice into snakes. Basically, you can see, it's cool, because you can see what's on my board, all right?
I can.
And so if I just do exactly what I need, then my summon silver snake, if you use your wolf's gone. Your
It's
wolf's gone.
But
All right, go
now
ahead.
I can technically meditate into it and then use it.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on that.
Well, no, meditate's a side action, so you can't meditate and use a side action to use the die.
That's true. Genius. Genius. What else you did?
Taylor said the checkout counter did the math. I did not.
Wonder why you were figuring that out, Taylor.
Yeah,
huh?
Michael says 22 decks for $200. That's insane. It's crazy. And also, honestly, like, so Colby bought Plaid Hat back, and I don't know the details of this, but I'm sure that's not like just an obviously easy decision, you know?
Right.
And probably a relatively big risk. So like we've been, this year, honestly, it's kind of the theme of the year. We started doing content for and supporting Skytear, and then we did Flesh and Blood, and we're actively still doing both of those. And like these are just kind of like smaller publishers who are making products they want to make. It's so
That's what we
fantastic,
always wanted to do.
and it's just so incredible to be able to do that.
We've
but like,
arrived.
when that purchase of those decks is like really matters to an organization, a group of people. It's just like every subscriber we have right now in general, and every content member we have, and every purchase of tokens and components and all that kind of stuff. It just is awesome. I love seeing it.
Clinton asking on that note, any update on the Skytear Ashen Pass sub? So we got half of it. I think the maps have come in. We're waiting on the cards still. Those are on the way from Europe. And then once it shows up, which could be any day, we'll ship that out to you. So it'll be happening just as soon as we can.
Someone asking if there's any overlap on the expansions with cards, and Alex saying apparently that there are no reprint cards in any of the expansions.
Right.
That's awesome.
correct.
All right, did you do your thing yet?
No, you were still doing something.
I meditated. Oh, I still get to play.
You still get a main action.
I
That's
love
right.
it. All right, so I'm going to use my Summon Silver Snake action. It's an action. I have to exhaust it. I have to spend a frog and a snake. It's a very funny.
It's just cool, man. You
Yeah,
feel
it's very mystical, magical.
You
I got
feel
my
like a cool, like the kind of wizard that I like.
I got my
you know?
Egyptian queen hanging out here with the frogs. I mean, it's like a plague. I'm bringing a plague on you. Anyways, place a Silver Snake Conjuration onto my battlefield. So I'll grab a Silver Snake. And the Silver Snake does a couple things fun. So we'll actually look at the attack line. I don't think you did that with the old Mist Spirits. But the Silver Snake has attack X. X is equal to the number of status counters on it. The way this works is when Steven's conjurations or units leave play, the snake eats them. And so I get a status counter every time that happens. And when that happens, his attack gets bigger and bigger. So my snake gets more ruthless. And it's got a life of 4 and a recover of 3. So at the end of the round, recovery is how much damage it heals automatically. And Steven has to do 4 damage in a round to remove this unit. And you can look at like his Mist Spirit for a comparison on like stat values.
Mist Spirit's about as low as you can get.
Yeah, it's
One
just
and one.
one attack, 1 life, no recover. It's just there to be a blocker and to ping some damage. So
That's right.
Very cool.
James, the Arcane tokens are still available for sure.
Yep, they're on the website.
They're on the website right now. Whether or not we had some sets remaining, and we'll reprint
we
them.
restocked going into this.
Yeah.
But
not a lot.
not a lot. Well,
Not
that's
a lot, actually.
Yeah. Relaunching says, "Well, I'm sold.
All right.
Welcome."
Let's do play a ready spell, Shifting Mist, as my main action there, and it's going to cost me 1. No, I don't want to do that. It's a waste. Summon Three-Eyed Owl. Let's do a switch up. Now, if you've noticed, by the way, one of the greatest things about this game, all these summon spellbooks are actually different art.
They
in-
look
on
like the same art,
pages.
but they're different art.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
The Summon Three-Eyed Owl. It's like it's got a little owl. The Summon Mist Spirit has a little mist thing that's like up in the weird area. It's just awesome. The whole thing is just awesome.
Mutton Chop says, "I guess there's no chance of getting any Ashes tokens." We have Arcane tokens that we designed for this game. That's what we're using right now. You'll see them in a second.
We might add more to that set too, depending on how things go in the long run.
Alex, Steven, why? Why are you playing the owl? I thought you liked fun.
Yeah, this is a deck that kind of was being built right at the end of things, if I recall correctly.
I literally had these decks built, not even at the end of things. This was built for Ashes Weekend. These were the decks I had together for Ashes Weekend, and then I didn't touch them again.
Well, that makes sense. I got a side action. I might use it.
All right.
You know what? I'm totally going to use it.
Peter's saying, I'm going to have to dust off my box and get back into this game. I forgot how beautiful it is. It truly is. Like, pull up Golden Veil. I just love this, the templating, and if you look, you'll see the little gilders on the bottom left of that art. It kills me. Anyways, I'll play them in a minute.
Okay, I'm going to use the side action, and this is a dice power ability. So this is what the charm dice can always do. If it's on its major side, 1 of 6, it's got the snake showing, you can spend a side action and spend one of these, put it on a unit, it gets +1/+1, and then at the end of the turn, it goes into the exhausted pile. Is it raining?
Pouring down.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. I can feel the sizzle happening
I could feel it, and I started looking at it and seeing it. Some good questions. Man, you guys are on it. Valantro says, how do you track health? You put damage on your Phoenixborn. Well, that'll happen in a minute. If you're holding a collection for 2 players, do you need 2 sets of all the dice? I think if you want to play all the dice, then yes, you would want more than just 1 set of dice.
Yeah, we're not sure on Fernanda at this point. There's, I'm sure once we actually know that we're going to print and everything, then trying to line all of that out.
Stuart said,
but I'm sure the art style, no matter what, will stay the same. Whether or not somebody can pull off what Fernanda did is a good question.
She's a rare talent.
But
I'll
she's
say that
awesome.
much. She's fantastic.
She filled in, actually. If you see Zach's Mayoni here, she actually drew a tattoo
and the little
on
thing
that
on
with a marker while she was here for Ashes Weekend.
Yeah,
we are Twitch. We're pulling questions from everywhere. We got the chat for everybody.
Yeah, so Twitch, we're streaming to Facebook and YouTube as well. So we got questions coming in from everywhere. I agree with Stuart here. He says, I mean, it's Mayoni. Everything about her is divine. Agreed. All right, so what just happened?
So I put a side action to pump this Mist Spirit, and I played the Summon 3-Eyed Owl spellbook. Okay. So that the owls can start hitting the party. And I remember, my battlefield is 5, so I can only have 5 units out at a time. This is one of my favorite mechanics of the game. It prevents those dumb, large boards from just getting bloated and unreasonable.
So I'm going to do this.
And it sounds like Nick's really into making that even more relevant.
Good. Good. All right, I'm going to use Summon Gilder. This is probably my favorite unit in the game. Exhaustion, action, spend a leaf. I'm going to spin my frog.
Frog can act as a leaf, no worries.
Yep, and then I get to summon a Gilder. Look at this. Look at Gilder. I love Gilder. He's just got the paintbrush.
Just ready to go to work.
So,
yeah.
He's gilding.
Reminds me of Mouse
He's
Guard.
gilding.
I mean, it's right.
Like it's gilded.
Yeah,
he's painting gold for Mayoni everywhere.
Yep.
And then if you look at that card I was referencing, Golden Veil, you'll see them in the bottom corner, and that just every time I see that, it makes me happy. So they're good because they have 1 attack, 2 life. They have unit guard. So technically, when you attack one of my units, you can't block with other units. You can only block with your Phoenixborn. Unless they have unit guard, then they can block for each other.
That's right.
And then it also has inheritance 1. This is important to note. It actually has this like box around it, and that's unexhaustible. So basically, when something is exhausted, all of its text is blank, like all of it's in the box text, except for anything in those boxes. So inheritance here triggers even after it's exhausted, and so if this leaves play, I got to put a status token on something.
That's right.
Like my
Boom,
snake.
like the snake. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a little Mist Spirit here. Sure. Let's do it. I'm gonna use the main action. It's gonna be Summon 3-Eyed Owl. It's gonna be an exhaustion on the spell because of that little second symbol on Summon 3-Eyed Owl, the spell book there.
Oh, hold on. Hold the phone.
What's that?
Summon Gilder. Place a Gilder onto your battlefield. I can deal a damage to a target unit.
Oh, I'm glad I buffed one of my Mist Spirits.
Does it
this
give
one or this one?
Does it give him life?
Yeah, 1 and 1.
Okay, yeah, we'll do 1 here.
Okay.
So when that goes away,
back to Conjuration Pile.
Snake eats it.
Don't.
So he's ready to go.
Chomp. Okay. Yeah, let's summon the owl then. So main action, summon the owl. 1 heart to do so.
Caca.
And here comes the owl. Oh, that's my actual deck. Here comes the owl. 3-Eyed Owl. Into the party. Ruiner of games, but concept is strong.
Now what I'm excited about is either seeing the new owl and or seeing Demona with different creatures.
I imagine that the owl gets a change. So owl's got 1 attack, 2 life, and has this memory drain ability. You can exhaust as your main action to have Zach discard a card from your hand.
I don't like that. I don't like it at all. 2 life too. I'm just a little too slow. Oh, I can deal.
I don't have a side action either. I don't need that.
But you can block. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's. I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna use my Gilder to attack your three-eyed owl. When I do, after a player has declared attackers, I can spend a resource. So I'll spend one of these black
One
dice.
basic.
And place an exhaustion token on this spell. If I do, add 1 to that target's damage.
Attack.
In addition, I can draw a card. If I do discard a card, I won't.
Okay.
do
So a little
that.
filter.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting. I like the owl. Look at Gilder getting it done.
Philip Gamble in the house. What up? He was a huge proponent of Ashes locally back in the day.
Yeah.
So I hope you're as excited as I am.
We'll, you know.
Gunchi's odd. Steven's not running tier 2 cards. It's my deck, which is why.
Now I can block with Demona here, right? Demona can always block for
Yeah,
units,
so
right?
units can't block for units unless they have unit guard, like the Gilder. But your Phoenixborn, if it's not exhausted, can always block for a unit.
I'm doing it.
And
So I'm
now,
going to block with Demona.
let me see something really quick.
The Phoenixborn can always step in and protect their conjuration. It's one of the things I like the most, honestly.
Yeah, my question there is, like, I don't think you have to exhaust to block.
The Phoenixborn?
Yeah, so then you just take the damage.
I think you just take the 2, yeah.
Yeah, so you take 2, and I exhaust.
And you only exhaust the defending units if you attack back.
Yeah, so like let's
wish I
say
could.
let's say that the Gilder and the Owl had actually fought.
Larry King, he looks like an owl.
Then the attacker basically exhausts and does the damage, right? And then the defender chooses whether they want to exhaust and do the damage or not. And
That's right.
And it's simultaneous damage, so I can't like defeat you and then you don't get to attack me back. But you don't have to exhaust. So like my snake, as an example, with a lot of health, could block a lot, and then not actually ever strike back unless it wanted to.
You're right. Okay, so that's your main action is doing an attack. And then do you have any side actions? I don't think you do, or maybe you already did one. Over to me.
Yep.
All right, so let's get the owl party going. We'll do memory drain, so it's an exhaustion in the main action. Choose a target player, discard a card from your hand.
War of attrition, I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's.
Isn't that fun? Don't you love that?
I love it.
I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Let's attack with my silver snake.
Okay.
And he's going to attack your owl.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend a resource to exhaust Maoni and give the snake +2.
Does it have overpower or anything like that, or anything weird that would?
It's just, so he only has 1 attack. So I
right
need
on.
to get to 2 to be able to actually get rid of your owl. So you either now have to take 3 on Demona or...
No, you can have the owl.
Yeah, all right, owl gone. So snake will eat again. He was hungry.
Chomp chomp.
Now technically, so actually go back. We need to actually resolve this.
I can counter it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so, or you were exhausted.
I was exhausted.
Yeah, so you
that's
can't
right.
counter it.
Yeah.
So not as exciting to show off what I was wanting to show. But
Now, if the Mist Spirit had unit guard, I could block this. I don't. I could put Demona in front of it. I don't want to take that much damage. That's crazy. Okay, back over to me. No side actions on your end. You're exhausted forever.
on my board's tapped.
Just straight up exhausted.
Blake says, anyone know how much those deck boxes from the deluxe expansions can hold? So I literally have everything, and I think there's actually even 2 core sets in my stuff, and all of that fits into those boxes. Everything currently in existence plus 2 and on 2 core sets fits.
All right. Well, you know. This is actually fantastic. I'm late to the party with you.
Casey Musgrave.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to take a side action. Turn this thing to a snake. And I'm going to have to discard 1 for that. I'll discard 1 here. So from heart to snake as the side action. Then the main action is going to be fade away on that snake there. It's going to cost me 1 and a mask. And it says destroy this unit at the end of the round. So let's.
That art, I love that art. Fadeaway art.
I also love that it's a removal spell that happens at the end of your turn.
Yep.
That is just so much more fundamentally good.
I think that is such an important just like recognition of this game and what it does. Like, it's none of the like instantaneous reactive feel bads. It's just literally like, oh, you know what's happening, deal with it.
That's right.
I'm gonna go ahead and play Hypnotize as my 4th and final spell in my spell board. And remember, when you meditate to change dice, you can technically discard cards from your spell board to change facings.
Can we go ahead and put the units up where they were so that people can see them with the picture-in-picture?
See the what?
The units. Because you see in the top right corner of
Oh,
the
my
preview.
spells?
Well, no, the units are fine. I think the units is the main thing. Just this part is dead because of the picture-in-picture. That's
These
up
are
there.
gone too, though, right?
They're gone, yeah, but I don't know that there's a lot you can do about it. There you go. That looks fine. You guys can all see that. All right, so you played the spell as your main action and then passed, yeah?
Let's do this.
Jason, yeah, 1.5 will have rule cleanup, adjustments, revisions, that kind of thing, yep.
How do we feel about this?
Oh, I like that. I'm okay with that. You want to put our Phoenixborns over here, like we're
Like the dueling?
dueling?
For sure.
Yeah, let's get them really
Maxed.
over here in the party.
In the zone.
Okay, so then back over to me. So main action, I'm going to use my side action to place this die on Miss Spirit, and then
I am the Tim. 1.5? Question mark? Exclamation point? Question mark? Yes. Yes, indeed.
main action is going to be to attack Mayoni directly.
I have nothing to do about that.
Nothing to do about that, which means that you're going to take 3 damage.
Boom.
Exhaust to do it.
I will pass.
All right, Demona is going to use her side action and exhaust to remove an exhaustion from a unit.
Oof.
Main action, 3 damage to Mayoni.
It's not good. Okay. I'm at 6.
Ordering those units around. Look at you go.
She good.
And then you pass?
Yep. My
I
snakes.
got to spin these to do that.
During the resolution phase, let me pull back up so we make sure we're following through all the steps appropriately. Or during the recovery phase. So first, remove a number of wound tokens from each unit in play up to that unit's recovery value. We don't have any wounds in play, so that's fine. Remove exhaustion. Remove 1 exhaustion token from each card.
At the end of the turn, these go to my exhausted pool.
Yep. And then this will fade away.
That's right.
So you get that back. And then exhaust dice. So you literally can take any of your dice here. I'll go ahead and move this. It's on a basic, so I can't do worse. Pass the first player token, so Steven will become the first player. And then we rinse back up to the top. So first thing during the prepare phase, we'll roll dice. It's leafy.
Big money.
No whammies.
No whammies. No baddies.
16 in the middle of Miami.
I think I rolled the exact same thing.
I believe we call that nailed it. All right, so you're the first player. We rolled the dice. You can discard any number of cards from your hand that you want, and then we draw back up to 5.
Oh, I'm probably okay here. Draw up to 5. Oh my, oh my. Oh my, oh my.
Okay.
I gotta kill that Gilder. He's just a pain. When this unit is destroyed, you may place 1 on a target. So now's the best time to hit that unit.
That's right. You're first.
I'm the first player. Boy, that's tempting. Now you get to summon another one, of course, but that's gonna take up your dice. So questions abound. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful questions. I'm late to the party with you. Let's see what we want to do here. Why is she so good? Oh my gosh.
Demona?
Rosefire Dancer.
Oh yeah, she's
Not
always
that I have
good.
it, but my gosh. You know what? Pressure. The owl. I always say Larry King looks like an owl because there's an old David Letterman bit. They did that for like 2 years straight. The intro, or like the go to commercial was like, broadcast brought to you by such and such. And Larry King, he looks like an owl. And then it would show Larry King, and then it would show a barn owl like eating a mouse carcass. It Very postmodern humor, Letterman, really? If we can say that.
I think so.
Three-Eyed Owl. Okay, so I need to spend a heart with the summon card here. So a heart, an exhaustion, and my main action to bring the owl into play.
And it's Easy Cat saying, wait, is Ashes back in production? It might be.
It might be if we get enough subs.
I'm going to link you.
Aaron Clark, did I miss anything? You certainly did. Hey, I'm sorry that work sucks, but Ashes might be coming back if we get enough subscribers.
That's right. We've partnered with Plaid Hat to potentially bring it back.
And then on my side action, I'm going to see if I actually need, I'm going to look at my hand and see if I need to start turning stuff up. Turn it up. I definitely need masks. Mask, mask, mask. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do a side action off the top to change this to a, when you're changing, you may as well send it to the biggest mode. So we'll send it to the wolf.
You're wolfing around. All right, mine?
Yep. Great, Aaron. Yeah, subscribe on. We need 1,000 total products subscribed to on the sub for it to go.
Josh says,
So-
can we get a subscriber countdown on the side? I can't tell you how excited
That's
I am
awesome,
right now.
Josh. We'll keep you up to date
We'll
as
post.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to meditate.
Very nice. Okay.
Little stream humor there. Let's
You did say.
meditate for one. I'll turn one of these basic into a frogs. Then I'll spin an action. Let me make sure. Yes. Okay, I'll spin an action. We're going to get old Silver Snake back, old Maxwell, and it's your turn.
Okay. Main action, let's owl it.
Caca.
Memory drain 1. Choose a target player to discard a card from their hand. It's going to be you.
Did it.
And then I will take...
Mutton Chop, I subbed. Super excited. Awesome. Thanks for backing it.
I think I'll take...
Aaron Clark saying, I'll go back and watch and try not to ask too many questions, but is there going to be a new core box? Nope. So all the first 1.0 cards, most of them are still good. The first thing that's going to happen to the subscription is a 1.5 upgrade pack, and it's going to replace about 33% of the cards that are already in existence. So if you have all that, you just sign up. It's going to be $29.95 per release quarterly. 1.5 upgrade pack. Then after that, it's going to be an expansion that has time dice and whatnot. And then after that, it's going to be 2 decks each quarter.
I'm going to go ahead and use this ability. So I'll use Damona's.
Dodgepong, just saw the announcement. Congrats, dudes. Thanks.
Absolutely, Ben. Thank you. Use this ability as a side action. Exhaust. I'm going to spend these 2 basics and remove an exhaustion from the owl.
I can't have it.
I know. We'll just put some pressure on. What do you think?
You're exhausted, so that's good news for me.
Yep.
I'm going to attack with the Gilder,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to use...
Can I still block if she's exhausted?
No.
No?
Do you want to rethink your life?
Yeah, I'll probably wait. I'll just wait because I can do that and then use the owl next turn.
You used it really effectively last time where you just waited until I was like...
Yeah.
And so she's tagging.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the downside of exhausting.
That's good to know.
Okay, so then instead, what I'll do is I'm going to spin an action and a leaf to summon a Gilder. When I do, I get to do a damage, so I'll do a damage to your Mist Spirit. And old Snaky will have a nice meal. And then that is my action. I don't have any side actions. Go ahead.
Okay. Late to the party.
Cody says, not sure if it's been asked or not yet, but if you have 2 core sets, do we need to get 2 subscriptions for the upgrade pack? Technically, if you want to upgrade both of your core set collections with the cards, like you would have a play set.
But we don't know how many of the core set cards are in the 30% that are getting rebalanced.
That's fair.
It could be none core set cards are in the 30%, so that's just information we ultimately don't know.
Multiple Man Army says, I'm in. Subscription placed. Awesome.
So 2 Gilders painting this snake gold is what's
Van says,
happening
is there
here.
action cheating in this game?
No. And if there is, I'm going to guess it will
And
get
the
removed.
one way that it happened, which is kind of reactive play, is actually going away in 1.5. That was one of the things that got us so excited. Is true to form. It's that what I love Destiny about, or what I loved about Destiny early on was that back and forth action, one thing, that tension it creates, and that's what this game nails. Relaunching is saying, can this be played more than 2 players? Yep, there's a multiplayer format. Tatted says, I'm also in. Subscription placed. Awesome.
Yeah,
Let's
guys,
go. Let's get
go.
it done.
Okay, maybe we do Demona now. I think that's right. So I'm gonna do that. You got 3 cards in hand?
Yep.
Let's get you down to 2 there. So side action, 2 basic symbols here. Exhaust. To remove an exhaustion, and then I'll spend my main action and exhaust, have you discard a card.
That's really oppressive.
Yeah, you know, I like the intrigue challenge in Thrones.
Well, I'm going to choose build over damage. This is very atypical of me.
Gross.
All right, mine?
Yep.
All right, let me look up a rule real quick. Don't mind me, I'll go to my compendium.
Daniel, yeah, there's an upgrade pack is the first thing sent through subscriptions, the 1.5 upgrade pack. So 30% of the entire 1.0 card pool is being redone, rebalanced, etc. It'll likely be the same art and everything, but the card text and whatnot will be redone to clean everything up and to change some effects. Maybe the owl will get changed, we'll see. And then that's $30. That's the first thing that'll send through subs. And then every quarter, as long as there's enough subscribers to hit the production queue, then we'll send a double Phoenixborn expansion, as you would expect, $30 expansion. And that might change a little bit over time depending on what Plaid Hat wants to do, but their plan is quarterly expansions.
Here's my question. I don't know the answer, so maybe someone in chat will. I know you can focus spells, so like I have a copy of Empower in my hand.
Hold on a second. Daniel's got a question. What happens to the other 70%? They're all fully playable. The rest of the card pool is normal and fully playable. That's why it's not really a 2.0. Just a little bit of that 1.0 card pool is getting rebalanced and everything's legal.
Pfizer saying, any idea when Plaid Hat will disclose the specific changes in 1.5? So we did an interview earlier. It was part of this stream. I would definitely watch that. But effectively, over the coming months, you'll start seeing all the cards and what they're doing and the rule book and all that kind of stuff.
Mike's saying, I'm pretty sure Phoenixborn can guard even while exhausted for future reference. Did you find that actually in the rules, or was that just
I'll look at that in a second. But one other thing is you can focus spells. So like I have Empower out, and I have one in my hand. The thing I don't know is if I have to pay the cost again. I know.
I don't really. Let's look at focusing spells in the rulebook.
That's what I was trying to find.
Shake off the rust here for a little bit.
So it says when a player puts a ready spell into play on a spell board, but it doesn't say anything about paying for it.
You probably have to if you're going to put it into play on a spell board, yeah? Yeah, you do. You got to pay for it.
Okay, what about the Phoenixborn blocking when they're exhausted?
Nick, can Phoenixborn block when they're exhausted? You do have to pay for it, though. We do know that, that's for sure.
But you can use both of them. That's important.
That's the cool, yeah.
So I'm gonna focus my Empower. It costs me an action and 2 leaves. And
Phoenixborn can block when exhausted.
Really?
That's great.
Good to know.
I'm happy about that.
So Empower, when it's focused, it has this. You look, it has a focus 1 ability. In addition, I can select a die in my exhausted pool, re-roll it, and place it in my active pool. So normally it's pay 1, get +1. I can draw a card, discard a card. But when it's focused, I can then take a die from here and roll it back in.
Yikes. I'm going to spend 3 dice to do that? What the heck's going on here? Okay. And if you attack my Phoenixborn, any unit can block, right? But only unit guards can block other units. That's how that works.
Yep.
So let's get some nonsense here. Let's get some Mist Spirits out. My favorite little critters.
Your little guys.
Some of the Mist Spirits. So we'll spend a mass to do that. We'll spend an additional 1, and I'll look at what I actually need to play.
I love this. Raymond says, minding my own business over here. Check the stream, and from nowhere, I'm subscribing to an amazing game. Happily ambushed.
Very nice.
Welcome. Thank you so much for the support. We're super excited. I mean, the chance to bring a game that we love back to directly be a part of that is honestly just a huge honor, and we're super excited about it. And hopefully there's enough people that want in for us to actually give a second life to this game. It would be super awesome to be able to do that.
All right, so 2 Mist Spirits are out. I'm not going to take a side action. Just pass it over to you.
All right, all right, all right.
Isn't it crazy, Jared? Seeing these cards again reminds me how gorgeous it was. Unbelievable.
Like, just pull up Mayoni again.
It's truly unbelievable.
It kills me. I just love it. I don't know what's going on. Message. Oh no.
Oh no, you're.
But look at Mayoni. Like, it's why this is so striking. You can imagine. I wish we could go back to 2015 Gen Con, and I wish I had a bunch of pictures of the kind of games and booths that you could see at that event. And then walking across this, it was just mind-bending.
Yeah.
Really,
Totally
truly
new thing.
mind-bending.
Thanks so much, Stuart. Got 3 subs in for Stuart. That's amazing. Question, if anyone signed up in the UK, can you help Brian out here? Or not Brian, Peter, asking sub postage. It'll probably be 25-ish.
Well, this first one's heavy.
The first one's
upgrade kit's heavy.
a bunch of cards and it's super heavy, so the shipping's going to be high on this one, and then the expansions will be much smaller. So the next expansion will be a lot less.
Brian asking, would purchasing a core set and 1 subscription be enough to play kitchen table casually with one other person, or do you need 2 of everything? You can definitely just buy 1.
Yep.
Definitely 1.
Just the core set would be kitchen table ready.
That's essentially this is mostly core set stuff. All right. Well,
$26 to UK. Yep.
and that's the worst it's gonna.
That's
be.
the worst it'll be. Yeah.
Yeah. What up, Ann? Saying subscribed. Welcome.
Thank you, Ann.
That's so fantastic.
What kind of sleeves are we using? These katanas? Are these
These
old
are
dragon shields? These are old dragon
This
shields.
is the thing with Dragon Shield. They literally
I
last.
don't know, man.
forever.
I'm liking the dragon shields too. I like it all.
I really like the Dragon Shield mats.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the test continues. Man.
Summon the Mist Spirits, over to you.
Yeah, I see.
We don't know, Jordan, if Fernanda's staying on or not. I know the art style won't change, so whoever the artist or artists that they eventually do use, if it's not Fernanda, will definitely take the aesthetic and recreate it. So we'll see.
All right.
I hope so. Fernanda's amazing, but she might be too expensive now. She's kind of the Magali problem, right? It's like you find an amazing artist early,
Am I right?
and then they get super popular, and then everybody's wanting
Yeah.
them.
All right. Let's go with a Gilder. I'm going to attack your 3-eyed owl, and I'm going to use one of my empowered. So these exhaust separately. Cost me a resource, so I'll spend a basic resource here. And then it's focus. It's got focus 1, so in addition, I can select one of these dice and roll it back in. So I'll roll a blue back in.
Very
And a
nice.
leaf.
Back to leaf.
And so I have a 2 damage attack coming at your owl. Also, immediately, it's like, I need boost. I need like +1 counters very quickly. Anyways.
But the good thing is it's instant.
Yeah.
Right? So like
You don't
the
have to hold the
permanent buff,
information.
the die literally goes there,
Yeah.
and then the instant stuff is instant. So it's really good. So I'm exhausted. I can't attack back. So you're going to do 2 damage to me. I have a life of 2, so the owl goes back to the summon pile.
And the old snake gets a snack.
It feels so much like Pokemon going back to the Pokeball, doesn't it?
It sure does. Seren is saying, I'm confused. What do I need to start playing? I've already subscribed, but I don't have anything else for Masters. So head over to the Plaid Hat website. What you definitely need is a core set. That comes with most of the dice and a bunch of cards that you'll need to play. Subscription plus that is going to be plenty for you to dive into this game. Now, they are running a sale. It's half of everything else that's not the core set. So if you see Phoenixborn that are interesting, that's cool. There's also 2 expansions that come with dice that aren't in the core set. Those are the Song of Soaksend and the Law of Lions. They also come with nice storage boxes and obviously a Phoenixborn and a deck and whatnot. So, like, it's really core set subscription or core set subscription plus those 2. And then, of course, you can buy as many Phoenixborn as you want. But the dice are and they also have the dice by themselves, side note, technically. So you don't have to buy the deluxes.
Boy, this is a question. This is a great game, man. Seriously. Like, I've got a lot of really good choices in my hand, and all of them are beautiful. Let's see. How do we want to do this? I'm kind of in a... When do I want to kind of go for it? Did you get your status token for the owl
Yep.
dying? Yeah.
He was hungry.
Okay, well, I'll play Hypnotize down on my spell board, and then I'll pass my side action.
Okay. Yeah, the old unblockable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm queuing my snake up for one of those.
I see a little Hypnotize over there on your end, too.
Hypnotize me.
Kevin, that's good. If you get a UK group together, that's something worth noting. If you have a play group in the UK or in Europe or internationally, if everybody goes in, has 1 subscription for 5 or 8 or 10, however many copies of the product that you need, so if 10 players would have a 1 subscription for 10 units, that's going to save you a ton of shipping. So see if you can get some people together and get it done.
All right, here's what I will do. I'm gonna
Awesome, Stranded.
I'm gonna take a side action.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend my frog to do a damage to one of your spirits. It's a 3. Yep, it's a 3. Snake's getting large.
Big snake.
Big snake energy. That's what the kids say, right?
Somebody made that joke on YouTube the other day. It's quite funny.
And then
Sounds like Londinium is ordering a bunch. Stuart Day says.
nice.
Sanjuro, what's up, Sanjuro? We haven't seen you in a while. Good Ash has got you back, huh?
Okay, I'm just gonna play it safe. I need to make this hit now before you do other weird stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I'm gonna attack you with a snake.
Demona?
Oh wait, no, I'm not. I hypnotized as a side action. Look at me, limited. You're so
Look at
limited.
these tactics. Look at this strategy. Highfalutin strategy. Contact if you're an LGS, contact Plaid Hat, and a lot of this is going to depend on it getting printed at all before FLGS can work anything out. But that's up to Plaid Hat, and they'll manage that for you. I'm sure they want FLGSs to make it happen. Paul, we'd love to bring Netrunner back, but I don't think Fantasy Flight is well too big, and that game would be just too big. Sanjuro had a baby boy.
Congratulations,
Hey,
man.
no wonder. Always lurking. Love you guys. Hey, thank you, Sanjuro. Congratulations. It's a heck of a journey. Jonathan's currently on that exact same journey right now, and I'm sure he would have a lot to say about it.
KK is saying, does the 1.5 upgrade replace cards in just the core set or from all the releases? It's all the releases, so it's across the entire card pool. All right, so did you take an action?
I played Hypnotize my last turn. That was it.
Okay. Cool. I need to take an action because I don't want you to pass. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'd love to go to the next turn and get another owl going.
Let's swing at you with a Gilder. For one.
Swing at me or with a Mist Spirit?
We'll go Miss Spirit.
Okay.
If you want to block, you can, I guess.
Yeah, I'll take one on Demona.
You got it. Just pinging.
We were pinging.
And we were pinging. Come on.
All right, so now you can't guard that snake, and you don't want to waste a snake block on this Mist Spirit. Let's try to sink some damage, man.
Come and get it.
Late to the party with you.
And saying, just lurking today, but just enjoying Team Covenant being absolutely amazing. Well, hey, I appreciate the compliment. That's a nice thing for you to say.
Side action. Pump this Mist Spirit to snake mode. You've never seen a crazier Mist Spirit in your
ready.
life.
Go ahead.
And then main action, I'm going to attack Mayoni for 2. Great, Riminimu, that's awesome.
He says, I've been eyeing those tokens ever since they were released. Finally purchased a set today. That's fantastic. Also, Trevor, I love this. Says, just subbed. I've never played Ashes, but I'm Destiny OG. This definitely has those vibes. So if you like Destiny, I think this is a game that you will dig, assuming you like the art and flavor and what's going on. All right, how many are you swinging for?
Yeah, that's true. So the snake can guard if you want to, and if you don't want to attack back, you don't have to exhaust.
And you're what kind of attack right now?
Two attack, just 2 attack.
I feel like I could go wrong 6 ways to Sunday.
This is not a game where you pile on reactions and stuff. It's most likely just 2.
I'm not going to block.
All right.
Take 2.
Call me in the morning.
All right, mine?
Yep.
Well, you have nothing left to block with.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Let's party. We're going to swing with a snake at Demona. I'm going to use Mayoni's strike ability to give +2. I'm going to put them here as side things. I'm also going to focus here to give it +1, so it's going to be +3. And I get to roll the die back in. So snake's coming at you for 6.
I got some funny business here, buddy.
Come and get it.
Let's play redirect. When my Phoenixborn would take damage and I have a unit in play, I can deal it to the unit instead.
Hold on.
It's going to cost me one heart. Yep, Jura, that's right. We're helping bring the game back.
Let me read this card.
You got to cancel? We got a little,
Nope, can't do it. All
little
right.
cantrip.
So 6 down out of the Mist Spirit.
The spirit
Okay.
is gone.
But I do get a yummy snack. Snakes are so hungry. Jor saying, hey guys, Did you say this comment already?
I don't think so.
He says, so you guys are bringing this, bringing this game back. Sorry, just logged on. Yep. Potentially, if enough of you out there subscribe to make this happen, I'm going to link. You can learn more about it.
William, this is 1.5 is what it's called. So if we get enough subscribers, you need 1,000 people, 1,000 products basically on the subscription service. If you do that, then you get 30%. The first thing is going to be an upgrade pack, 30% of the Ashes 1.0 cards, reprinted, rebalanced, etc., and sent to you as the first release. You can see it on the screen right there. And then after that, as long as we have as many subscribers as Plaid Hat needs to justify it, they'll keep printing quarterly expansions, presumably indefinitely.
For life.
Okay, my go?
Mm-hmm.
And you're all exhausted, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a shot here. Let's throw the old Wayward Knight out. Using all my big dice to do a 3 basics, which I don't enjoy, but it's just a 3 attack, 3 life, 3 recover. It's Damona's signature unit. You'll see it in all of Damona's decks.
You ever feel like you made a lot of mistakes?
No, never. My life has been nothing but perfect.
Great. Just in case you get funky, I'm going to give the Silver Snake +1.
Oh, man. As your side action?
Yep.
No main action?
Nope.
All right. Well,
this was my mistake. I had
all these dice.
I should have
Side action into some toads and do some. Well, I got recover 3.
If I had meditated, I could have had frogs and snakes out, and then I could take care of your unit.
Yeah.
To get another token here, and then boost him with a bunch of hearts, and then I could have swung with a much bigger attack.
So you're saying there's like a strategy?
Yeah. Like you can actually be good at this game.
Wow. So Wayward Knight is going to swing at Mayoni for 3 damage. You hip to that? Any business?
I'm so hip. I'll take 3.
No funny business.
Up to 11 damage. Dave asking, been hopping in, not doing work. Will you keep us updated on the progress to 1,000? Yeah, we'll post about it pretty frequently.
Lobbin, absolutely. Swedes unite. Let's go.
Astro Marine says, hey, Team Kevin, I asked for Ashes on a throwback a month ago, so I'm going to take all the credit for this.
Congratulations.
All right. I will pass.
I'll also pass.
All right. I'm going to keep these.
Yeah, so any dice that you want.
Remove
all exhaustions.
Yeah. But I'm ready to party now.
Yeah, you're in a good spot here.
And then we pass the token.
Mm-hmm. You got the first.
And I'm first.
You got a big snake.
Oh yeah, especially with my hypnotize. I'm ready to rumble. Then you can discard your number. Actually, roll your dice first. So that's cool, right? You can know what dice you have to decide what you want to discard.
It's that stupid strategy coming back in.
Yeah, it's cool because it's like it allows for variance, but not the kind of variance that can like keeping a bad hand based on what the dice rolled is like double bad.
Yes. Having to make that choice, yeah, when you do it.
Sanjiro saying quarterly is much kinder to my wallet. Yeah,
I mean $30 every 3 months.
Yeah, and that'd be
crazy.
The upgrade kit's going to be $29.95. The first expansion is going to be $29.95, and then the 2 decks a month or 2 decks a quarter after that are going to be $29.95.
All right, I'll keep this hand.
All
right, boy, you got a chance now.
Party time. So it'd be 4. Now, I got to draw my cards first.
You can empower it twice. You can only trigger 1 empower.
I think I can do both.
Does it have any limits on it or what?
After a player is declared, etc. So I could do 2, 3, 4, and I could hypnotize so you can't block it.
That's
so
nice.
it can be an 8.
But you don't get that second empower ability. Don't you want to spend some dice first? Don't you want to... Come on, kid. Don't you want to spend some dice?
Well, if I pay the 2, I get the 2 back.
Immediately?
Yeah, I pay 2, and then the focus action is in addition. I can choose dice to roll back in.
That's pretty nice. Mark, if you don't have anything for the game, what we would suggest is buying a core set from Plaid Hat Games right now, and then signing up for a subscription. So you get 30% of the entire card pool, plus you'll have your core set with the dice. And then past that, if you want to kind of explore other Phoenixborn, build your collection, whatnot, you can do that by buying expansions. All of them are like half off right now on Plaid Hat's website.
Which is crazy towns. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Snake's coming in. Well, first, side action. We use Hypnotize.
Also, future Ashes streams, yeah, we're doing more Ashes streams. We'll be exploring the game for the next month plus 2 months.
Yeah,
plus
we have all
months,
these decks here. a bunch of them.
See how it goes.
And then we're going to be getting spoilers from 1.5, I assume.
Probably true.
That's just an assumption. I don't actually know that.
We call them previews in the civilized
That's
world,
right.
okay?
Previews. We're going to be showing new cards off very regularly.
Nothing to spoil. Just
Hypnotize. We're going to spend 2 hearts. 1 heart, 1 love. Choose a target unit I control to gain the following ability for the remainder of the turn. Bypass. This unit cannot be blocked or guarded.
seems good.
Now, is a turn this activation, or is a turn the whole thing?
Turns the whole thing.
So if I could like unexhaust somehow, he would be like.
He's got hypnotizing
snaking
eyes
around.
for the rest of
All right.
the game.
See these eyes? So he's swinging, and we were swinging. Man, he's going to give him +2. And then I will go ahead and use 2 on my empowers.
Woo!
And I'll roll these back in.
Yikes!
1 heart, 1 mind. So he is now at a +4 with can't be blocked. 8 damage coming at you.
How about redirect again?
Hey.
Just smoke that night. You got me. 8 damage.
Yep.
5, 6, 7, 8. I do a clean conversion here, so 11 of 17 damage.
I didn't
Just took a big old bite out of me.
I didn't think about this till Jared said it. He said, "Are you telling me every Wednesday is going to be Ash Wednesday?" Which is
hilarious.
killer,
Yeah, I
because
had
that's
no
actually
idea.
what's planned is Ash's Wednesday, but I didn't even think about that connotation.
Oh man, that's something. What's your
Then-
battlefield?
My what?
What's your
Oh,
battlefield?
I'm at max, dude.
Oh,
3.
you can
She's-
only have. So
she's-
you're
she-
at
She's
dad
got a
mode
little
here.
baby battlefield, whereas you're a
Yeah.
commander over here. Jared says, Ash's Wednesday. It writes itself, really. Then saying, subbed, I really want Night Song Cricket being fixed. Yeah, I mean, I assume most of the things people have complained about are what's going to change. Alex says, more Ash's videos. Yes! Yeah, people kept asking if we were going to throw back to it. And, like, we're having these conversations the whole time. And it's like, I can't wait. Because it's going to be so much more than just a throwback.
Okay, what's my battle? My battlefield's 5, so I've got room to roam here.
Yeah, she can go wild. Let me read this Rayward Knight.
Clears all exhaustion.
So he can, like, be quadruple exhausted. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Nice, and he's a 3/3/3. He's like the old scout for you from the spoils.
He's the jam. Yeah, he's the jam. Well, so these guilders with their 2 life, that's annoying.
Look at them. They're so
Just
stout.
look at him, would you? Would you look at him? You can't use hypnotize again. That's a bonus.
Now, yeah, that is a bonus. Unless I play another copy of it.
Very possible.
It may or may not be in my hand.
All right, let's play a shifting mist spell. It's gonna cost me 1 mask.
Okay.
I'll pay for it there. And I can just take a side action and exhaust it to change 2 dice to any side. I'm gonna go ahead and do that
I feel
now.
like you had that out first turn last time we played. It's so frustrating.
It's real good. I do have it in my opening hand. I just had so many good things to do, you know?
Yeah. All right, so you can literally change all my dice at will. How about that?
Only 1 at a time. I can only spend 1 wolf at a time.
But it changes 2.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right, well let's try to squeak this one. You know what I mean? I'm gonna play as my action refresh. Costs me a heart and a basic, and it says remove all exhaustion tokens from a target unit.
Very nice. I can at least block it, right? You can't hypnotize.
I'm hypnotized
again.
still, right?
Oh, you are still hypnotized. That's right.
Hypnotize me. Wah.
All right, you gotta play my trap card here then. Rosefire Dancer cost me a mask and a basic as my main action, and then I'll use the side action exhaust to exhaust a target unit.
Why is she so good?
You know what? Because it just makes so much sense for a snake to get distracted by a dancer like that. That's literally what happens in the world. Oh, a turn is 1 turn, not the whole phase. Thank you, Michael.
Okay,
That's
so
what
I'm
we
not
need to know.
I'm not hypnotizing forever.
That's right.
All right, let's go. Gilder is going to swing at your Rose Fire Dancer. You have 1 life, so we'll just leave it as it is.
Those are annoying guilders.
They're my mouse guard.
Yeah, not going to do anything about that.
All right, and you can't strike back.
I cannot.
And then old Snaky Snake gets another token.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting big. Dave says, it looks like there's a lot going on. How difficult is the board state to parse? Not difficult at all. So basically, you can have 4 spells, and that's what I have here, 4 different spells. And they have the thing about this, you don't carry information throughout this game. So like there's very few static effects that are happening. I can literally use this and it happens and it's done. And these summon spells, they just bring creatures out. And they, a lot of times, are like these Silver Snakes and Gilders that I have are going to keep being in play because those are my 2 main conjurations. So it's once you get like 5 minutes into a game, you're really not managing much at all. CT saying, is there an actual counter somewhere? There's not. There's not a counter.
Technology is beyond us.
Yeah. Aaron Clark saying, I don't know how to ask this or if we really know the answer, but how realistic is 1,000 Ashes subscriptions? It's super realistic.
I think it's realistic.
Yeah.
I think there was more than 1,000 players even at the very end after a lot had gone out because of the production issues. So it's just about finding them. I think this game is in a good pocket right now, given the current games in the environment. A lot of the competitive LCGs have faded.
Yeah.
So this is an example of like a competitive game that is extremely just accessible theme-wise. I think it's a nice theme that most anybody can get into, find something that they like. You can find a Phoenixborn that you're really into. It's $30 every 3 months. So like for people on a budget, Sanjuro just had a baby boy. Congratulations again. That's a reasonable cost as compared to like a collectible or a miniatures game. So I think it's in a good spot right now. We just need to get the word out.
Yep, for sure. And Simon asking, will you be doing a deck building stream? You bet. I might be doing that as soon as next week.
Okay, so what you're saying is...
Stuart saying Ashes Online, which is the Facebook group for the continuation, the fan version, has over 2,000 people in the group.
Boom. What more needs to be said? All right, let's think about this.
This is Kevin. This is great. He says, this looks better than anything out there right now, and this is from 2016. It was way ahead of its time. It was actually
Super
from
ahead of its
2015.
time. Yeah.
It's 5. This month, it's 5. That was 5 years ago.
5.
We're getting not young.
5. Okay, I'm going to take a side action to meditate.
All right.
We're going to discard 3 off the top. And change these to snakers.
Snakeroonies. Snakes are bad.
Snakes are bad. The assistant is a mouse. And then...
What are you doing all these? Oh, I see. You're pumping.
Go ahead and cast Summon Three-Eyed Owl.
The worst. He literally is the worst. Have I mentioned how the worst he is?
You have.
All right, let's do this.
Simon, we would not be opposed to doing more player-driven production. This is our first take on it to see what happens, and it's just a matter of publishers and games that fit and those kinds of things.
Yeah, there's plenty of games we've been throwing back to that I would love to give some new life to, assuming the publishers were into it and they wanted to do it.
Bubba J, updates on Skytear. We got half of that shipment in. We got, I think, the packs or the maps. I don't remember.
I think we got the mats.
Got the maps in, and so we're still waiting on the cards from Europe. They're on the way currently. So any day they could show up and we'll send them right out. 24 hours turnaround.
Mutton Chop saying, will one set of tokens be enough for 2 players, you think? I don't remember. I think I'm playing with 1 set of tokens here.
I think it was designed to be okay with 1.
I think it was a 2-player set.
I don't know, but you have 2 1-player tokens there.
Let me look.
Let's see what the quantities are. Someone has arcane tokens on Etsy? Can't copyright that. It's fine.
We could.
They got it. We
All
have to
right.
do like arcane with like the @ symbol and some weird stuff to
At
actually
Kane.
trademark it.
All right, so 1 first player token, 15 exhaustion. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out right now. You have 2.
I got 2, yeah.
14 of the damage tokens, which is 1s and 5s. We have nowhere near that.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely do that.
7 status tokens. That's probably the thing that's the tightest.
But a lot of things
on the,
don't use status tokens.
Yeah,
That's why it was so hard to balance, because Mayoni uses them. I don't use them at all.
Yeah.
I bet you could get 1 set, for sure.
Okay. I'm going to upgrade my Hypnotize.
Oh, no. Oh, yes. All right, side action, buff a knight.
Buff a knight.
Main action, let's Alia. Discard a card, if you would, please.
Did it. All right. What's the max you can get to? 3, 4,
This would
5,
be
6.
6 if he's fully buffed.
Then you go twice.
I could.
Not the math I like.
That would be sick, wouldn't it? 12 plus 11 is greater than your current health.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Let's ping the 3-eyed owl for 1.
You just hate this owl, don't you? You know that won't kill him, right? You cool with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, pass.
You got something in your hand. You got an answer in your hand.
Yeah, Nikki, that's what we're talking about, the Ashen Pass mats. Yeah, I do have something in my hand. Astro Marine saying, balancing aside, my main issue at the time of the game was how, with a couple of signature cards and no real colors assigned, each Phoenixborn seemed a small base to deck build from. I mean, none of this stuff, I guess there's like the Summon Silver Snake that's Mayoni, which is the green and pink, but I don't even recall. I don't think you even have to use those. You're just the only person that can use them.
I don't know.
Let me look.
That's a good question. I don't know. Don't remember. Ooh, now we're getting into the real money here. Late to the party with you.
Yeah, in the deck building section, it doesn't say you have to run them. So technically, like, you're not really restricted in any form. Michael, I love hearing that. It says Zach's right.
All right.
Every time my wife ever says that, all 3 times, I've been like, hey, hold on, say that again. Let me get my phone out, record this. That way I just remember this happened once.
All right, max damage here. What can I get into? You're going to have to spin up a frog. You can do 1 damage with your Gilder with that leaf, that summon Gilder spell, so that's annoying.
Ping, ping, ping.
Even if you can't summon him, you can use the ability. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But my real goal is you attack with the knight, I block with the Gilder, it goes away, then I get to summon the Gilder and do a damage, so then that's just bad news beats for you. But you have the old Hypnotize.
That's what we're trying to prevent, too. All right, I'm going to give it a shot, man. So I'm going to...
What up, You're Done Bacon? He says, is there an announcement for all this? I don't understand. We're partnering with Plaid Hat to bring Ashes back, assuming enough of you out there subscribe to make it happen. They have an announcement on their website that has a lot more information. I'm going to link to the subscription here, which you can learn a little bit more about it from.
Rosefire Dancer coming into play. Let's get that Gilder exhausted, shall we?
This is bad. You ever feel that way?
I do.
Okay. Let's meditate twice. It's froggy time.
We were pinging. All right, I'll do side action, attack Mayoni for 5.
Take it.
Ooh-wee.
All right, I got some work to do. Okay.
Absolutely, Billy. Happy to be here.
I'm going to use a frog to do a damage to my Gilder.
He has 2 lives, doesn't he?
Oh, no.
A genius play.
That was my only way out. I don't have a way out. Well.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have to spend 2 dice to unexhaust here, which means that if I do that, I can't swing for 6. I'm going to swing for 5 again, which means that you would have 1 life left.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
that's
Okay,
right.
okay.
So you technically
Well, let's
are
keep
in.
on rolling. I'm going to do a damage to your owl for 1.
Okay.
And we'll get another token.
Larry King. He looks like an owl. It's so funny to me. Okay. We will go ahead and side action 2 die
Yep.
with Demona Odenstar's ability. Order, so she's really good at ordering troops, keeping their morale high.
Yeah, she's a
Knight
commander.
swinging for 5 again at Mayoni there.
Down to 1 health. So many mistakes. It's crazy. All right, mine.
Yeah.
Let's eat the fire dancer.
All right, you got it.
And she actually gets removed from the game. Allies, when they get eaten by the snake, are
Oof.
permanently gone.
They're gone.
Because technically those black dice can bring them back from the discard pile.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
I want none of that. Okay.
Let's see if I have any actions that don't require dice. I do not, so I'll pass my main action.
I will also pass.
All right.
So we clear. You can keep any dice you want.
And I'm the first player. Well, can Zach deal with Hypnotize? We're going to find out.
Hypnotize
Tune in next time.
I better start digging.
Oh, man. Now I had just hit the juice. Just hit the burners. Carunia. Never heard of that one, Skywalter. That's one. We've heard of a lot of them. I'm surprised that's one I have not heard of.
Tom's saying, Plaid Hat's website says Ash's subscriptions are available to residents of the U.S. and Canada. Can you confirm? You can sign up for a subscription from anywhere.
Worldwide, yeah. We'll get that fixed. Okay. I get the first action, so let's see. I guess I have to force you to deal with this or not. So Hypnotize is going to happen here. So we'll do... Now, I just don't know the card pool well enough to know if you have a way to deal with this. You're not the kind of guy that builds a deck that could deal with this, right? Is that Redirect, right? Redirect could do it? And then you swing back at me.
Well, one good way is to look at my discard pile.
You got anything in there that would do it? I'm playing top tier Ashes here. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
As I said, I was always the best at this game.
I don't have anything in my discard pile that could do it.
What about in your hand?
I don't know. I mean, is there any reason not to try?
Well, because I have a way to more consistently still have a shot, but not lose if you do have the redirect, presumably.
I assume you have a way to stop my snake.
Yes. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to cast Steady Gaze, one of my favorite cards here. My main action, put 2 exhaustion tokens on said Silver Snake.
Maxwell Silver Snake. Guardian of Fun says, hey guys, how goes it? It's awesome you're doing this. Ashes is one of my most favorite games. Any chance you'll stock older products or will those be obsolete? So Plaid Hat has all the older products listed
the older
on their
products.
website. And the 1.5 upgrade kit will bring all those into current 1.5.
And then stores might as well at retail. So it depends on what Plaid Hat does with those products and those lines. But we will not be stocking them. We're just in charge of the new products, forward-facing subscriptions.
So you do that with an event?
Yeah, that's my main action as an event. See, you do have weird stuff in your hand. And then as a side action, I will go ahead and use Hypnotize. Oh, no, that's just the turn. Huh. You know what I'll do? You know?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'll do? What will I do as my side action? I'll go ahead and shifting this here. Change 2 dice to dice of my choice. Let's go this guy and this guy, Goatman. You ever feel like you're throwing a Hail Mary? Yeah, Alex, had a ton of people on this stream, for sure. Billy, if you got Zero Ashes products, what we would recommend is joining the subscription because the product you're going to buy is only really super relevant if the game actually makes it back into print. So having a subscription is like the #1 priority. That'll get you 30% of the entire card pool in the upgrade pack. And then I would buy a core set. So core set plus subscription is going to get you all the core set cards, the 4 main dice types, the instructions, all of the things you need, plus 30% of the rebalance card pool. Now some of those cards will come from the core set. So they'll replace cards that you own from the core set, but you'll still need it. And then you'll get some others across various expansions. And then what I do, if you know that you want to get in, I would probably look at what Phoenixborn are most interesting to me, and maybe buy a couple of those expansions. They're like $8 right now on Plaid Hat's website. So tank up, but, whatever looks interesting, and particularly the Song of Soaksend and the Law of Lions, I think.
Yep. Have the dice in
They introduced Divine Magic, which you see here, and Sympathy Magic, which is here. It's the horse and the music. Sounds like a fun party I've been to. And so if you want to have access to those dice types, those are expansions you can buy to get that, or you can buy the standalone dice packs, I believe, as well.
Yep.
So at the very minimum, core set plus subscription is a great way to start.
All right, I may have found a way
Okay.
to at least put pressure on.
Show me the money.
All right, so side action, I'm going to give a Gilder +1.
Okay.
Main action, I'm going to attack Demona.
Okay.
I'm going to use Maoni to make it +2. I'm going to use these bad boys to make it +2. So now it's at
6.
6, and you have exactly 6 life left.
I do.
So I'm going to force you into a position unless you have that redirect. Either way, redirect or blocking is fine. I just need that unit not on the table right now.
That's right. Yeah.
Ruminant Moo says, do you know if the upgrade pack meets the subscription goal of Plata and intends to update the older Lions core set with the updated rule sets and cards? So from what I know, basically, it's like the goal is upgrade pack first, get everything current, all the previous players that owned it can upgrade, anyone that buys the current stuff upgrades, and then presumably once they eventually, like once we're past the upgrade pack and they start actually running out of first edition versions of stuff, they would actually reprint that stuff. And all that stuff, right, is going to be, they're going to have it available on their site, and then how they handle it from there, whether they go retail or whatever with all that, is totally on them. Japan himself says, threw these cards out like 2 years ago, just bought the core set again on the miniature market and will subscribe.
Very nice.
Welcome.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, well, I've got to block it, friend. But I don't have to exhaust to swing back, but I will die.
Yeah, so you may as well exhaust
So I may
if
as
you
well.
want.
Yeah. All right,
So
so
the thing about exhausting, though, is it will take me off and it'll give me a slot on the battlefield.
that's true.
And I'll get a token here when he goes away. And a token here
It's
when he
even
goes
your
away.
units?
Well, when he goes away, he has inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh, right
My
on.
snake eats my mice, my dead mice.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, we won't swing at you.
Okay, so I'll exhaust. I think that's smart, because now I have 1 left, and that's
So you do
problem.
7 here, he has 3 life. I'm
Yeah.
gone.
And then Snake eats.
Chomp, 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 chomp.
One day, he'll, and he has 2 on him now.
Yeah,
You exhaust
steady
him.
gaze, yeah.
Gross.
All right, so check this out. This is something that I didn't see earlier that now I appreciate as a sweet combo. You ready for this? I'm sure this is why this is in the deck, back when I was more mischievous with my deck building. So I'll start with a side action, spend a goat die. Choose an ally in my discard pile, add it to my hand, and deal damage equal to the attack value to my Phoenixborn. So I'm going to add the Rosefire Dancer back into my hand. Now, keep your eye on the ball here.
Mutton Chop says, did you guys realize how much this game is loved? It's amazing. Yeah, we loved it too, right? And it kind of just went away, unfortunately, for some bad beats that it had. So the opportunity to have a chance to have any sort of role in bringing this back is fantastic.
All right, Rosefire Dancer back in hand.
Okay.
And take 3 damage.
All right.
But wait. Then I'm going to react with Sympathy Pain. After my Phoenixborn receives damage, deal 3 to a unit or Phoenixborn. That one.
No! Hold on. Let me make sure. Oh, man. Bummer.
All right.
You got me.
I got him.
So my long play here, by the way,
that felt so good. I had
By the way,
forgotten how good this is.
that thing you just did, wherever it's at.
Is that a rat or
Sympathy?
something?
No, well, I assume it will be. So
I
this is
think
what
it
they're
will
talking
change.
about, which
Yeah.
is the moment they introduce stuff that reacts to things, it gets way more complicated.
Yeah.
Because you were able to just do a bunch of stuff without me having a chance to react.
Correct.
Which takes away the essence of the game. But then also, because you can react, if I have a reaction to the reaction,
Right.
it's like they didn't write those rules at first.
Right,
Like,
right,
what's
right.
the combat chain? How's all that work?
So if I were guessing, this becomes like a ready spell on your actual spell board, and then maybe you, after you take damage, you can go ahead and like exhaust it to do that, so your opponent knows that it's possible.
Or
Or
you load counters onto it.
right.
So it's like a side action or a main action. It's like spend a counter, exhaust it, do this thing. But like you have to play it down. I know that if I do damage to you, you're going to go load that thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to do it, and you just clean
It's
it
so
up.
true, yeah.
And
It's so true.
that card's fine. It's fine-ish. But, like, obviously, the more you take that out and the more I do a thing, it's on the board.
I agree.
It just removes all that like, unknowing tension and more tension on, like, what we're actually doing.
Because, like, if I play this right now, then my next side action, I can potentially take this to get an ally back to do the critical damage that you need. So you're like, okay, so I've got to heal, or I've got to do something with this spell, or something's got to go on. Yeah.
So I had 2 transfers in hand. So it's an action, a heart, and a basic. And I can move a token from a target player's non-Phoenixborn to another non-Phoenixborn I control. So literally,
so you can exhaust out my battlefield, get your snake up.
It has to move to one of my cards.
Okay.
But I could literally move one of these to, like, here, and one of these to, like, here.
Does it have to be an unexhausted thing too?
No. So I could also
just
pile
load
up
up
on a
your
guilder.
guilder.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, like, I was looking at, as long as I can live.
Yeah.
If I could have moved it to yours, then I have the answer all along, because I just moved the exhaustion back over to you, and it's like, okay, this is great. But yeah, that was fantastic.
so good.
And, like, this is just the tip of the iceberg on what's available. Honestly, it's so good.
It's really fun too, because we've been going through all the throwbacks that we've been doing, and it's like, man, this thing stands out now. Like, it used to be, okay, it was one of a few games that I was playing at the time.
Yeah.
But now, having played like 30 in the past
it gives you a whole new context for what's going on.
Like, this
here.
is tight. Like, this is a great system. Truly great. I'm gonna hit the bathroom. Zach, you want to talk to the folks? I'll give you a shot.
I got it. We're back. Sky Walter says, I know this is oversimplifying, but you guys seem to strictly be some sort of distribution sales role, but they didn't let you in on the development, even if it's just a peek under an NDA. So we had conversations about what their plans were and the intents and stuff, but we don't, people ask us all the time if we've ever designed a game, and, like, we've talked about it and we've had ideas and stuff, but, like, ultimately creating games is not the problem we're looking to solve. And so we don't see ourselves as a publisher. We don't want to play that game, so to speak. And we want publishers to be there themselves, right? I mean, it's the same thing with, like, Skytear and Flesh and Blood. It's like, we obviously play the games and we talk about them, we give our opinions, but, like, we don't ever really want to be in that kind of, like, hands-on controlling, consulting role, because I think that takes away, that adds our ingredients to a publisher, and, like, we want to work with publishers that have their own ideas and know what they're doing, right? And that's who we are fortunate enough to be able to work with. So even all the way back, everyone always assumed we knew stuff about, like, Fantasy Flight's games for years, and we always stayed way out of that stuff. We didn't want to play test, we didn't want to see early, and the other half of that is just as players. When you start, it's already enough of, like, it's obviously, this is our careers and our jobs and our livelihoods and stuff, but, like, the moment you start actually actively working on a game like that and given that kind of role, it goes from something a passion and a hobby and this thing that we enjoy doing and sharing it together, and it becomes way even more of a job, which is not necessarily what we're after. So we love being able to just hang out and enjoy the games and the creations and the things that these publishers are putting into the universe. Holly's saying, do I need a few core boxes? So I think it's just one per player ultimately is about what you're looking at. Evan, if I don't buy in right away, I still think this game's 100% deserved to come back. It was one of the best LCGs of the last decade. No doubt, no doubt. CT, Zach, you guys are doing the same exact thing you should be doing. Draw people into the hobby. Well, that's what
we've always tried to do.
We're trying to do, right? We love tabletop. We grew up playing it, and for us, it was always just this incredible tool for connecting with people and making memories and making friends. And so one of our aspirations forever has just been to help tabletop evolve to the point where it's as normal to hang out and play games with people as it is to grab a coffee or go to a movie.
And to that point, we are sponsored by Nalgene Bottles, made in the USA. HDPE plastic. That's a joke.
ACN, that's an ongoing joke. Are you guys effectively
Zach was unfazed, you'll notice by that
being
joke.
the exclusive distributor seller of Ashes, the biggest single expansion of TC's business model? So, it's interesting because this is a way to bring a game to market, so to speak, and I think we're going to talk in depth on this on the podcast that's going to come out this weekend. It's a huge deal for us. It's a huge opportunity. We're honored that Plaid Hat was willing to work with us and interested in exploring new ways of getting games out and
games that just don't work otherwise. I mean, that's the main thing. Is if this could get through the 3-tier and get to retail, that's great too. We would be happy for that to do it. Whatever it takes to get some of these games back in print is absolutely worth doing. So we're not looking to be like, this isn't like a new big thing where all these games are going to funnel through this system, but like small publisher, expandable game, it fits a certain category where none of the other bigger distributors would be interested. The volume isn't big enough. The expansions aren't coming out enough, or they don't cost enough. There's a lot of reasons why it doesn't work.
But there's a committed group of people that want to play this game, right? And I think that's the recognition where it's like, for board games, you buy the core game and you're out, and the design's done and you're out. Like it just works. But with these kind of games, it's like to invest in ongoing development. And when you know you have, that's the frustrating thing. When you know you have enough people playing a thing that it could stay alive, so to speak, and then it goes away just because the system isn't built for that kind of game. Because ultimately, I think the two kinds of games the three-tier system is really built for: collectible games.
It was built on the back of collectible
built on the
games.
back of that. And then now more modernly, I think, is board games, which is a lot of retailers stock a bunch of board games. They get 20 new board games every week. They bring them in. People can shop and peruse. But, the 29th expansion for Ashes isn't necessarily something most retailers want to put on their shelf unless they have an active community for it. But even then, it's like they don't want to push people to this active community because economically speaking, Magic and Pokemon are just way bigger, healthier communities. And
they generate a lot more cash.
And they generate a lot more money. So like it's just a hard position to put retailers in. Evan's saying this business model is so much better than Kickstarter. I feel obliged to subscribe just to financially support the idea and the model.
Yeah, we're finding, so you guys have followed us for years. We've been talking about this forever. Like forecasting is a huge problem. Getting a game off the ground, initial production costs, tons of risk from publishers. Conversation with Jamie, for instance, talking about Wingspan and the issues there. Talking about all of these things, and it's like, well, here's a potential solution to all those problems for smaller publishers. So let's give it a shot. Because like kickstarting this would make no sense.
Yeah.
Like you're going to kickstart it. Now it makes a lot of sense. If you're going to do Gloomhaven, if you're going to do a big board game, you need a lot of money up front. You're going to put it on a shelf, sell it through retail, and evergreen it. Go for it.
Or you're going to do a big Gloomhaven expansion once every couple years.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of event, right?
You don't want to kickstart every 3 months.
And it's a lot of energy, and the Kickstarter takes a chunk off the top and whatnot. So David, what up, David? Saying, so basically you guys will do anything except design. So if you look at it, right, it's just very, very practical. You have a publisher, Ashes, I keep getting those flipped around. Plaid Hat,
yeah.
Who can make fantastic games and knows essentially how to do all of that. And then you have us who can market and create content for a game and support it in that way. And also we have a subscription platform that's built, and we also can get products to customers all over the world. And that's really, for a game like this, what else do you actually need that's going on? I think the big question mark is like organized play and events and whatnot. But the recognition with this game is that it wasn't big enough in the financial model. It doesn't make enough sense for local retailers to really invest in it. So you're not getting the upside of the three-tier system, really, and you're also not getting the upside of a more streamlined system like we are now working on with Plaid Hat. And you get stuck in the middle. I think that's where a lot of these games end up going to die, right? It's like purgatory for expandable games.
A lot of hype up front, and then by the 5th expansion, retailers don't really care anymore.
They don't want to stock 82 SKUs. Like right now, there's 22 SKUs of Ashes.
Makes total sense. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to do that.
We
that's
aren't.
The thing.
That's why we're letting them sell it, right?
Okay, so let's do one more. I want to bring in the Divine Magic and the Sympathy Magic. I've never played with it before.
Okay.
But we need to figure out who does that.
This one is the
I
music
know that
symbol.
Xander does. I'll play Xander. Xander looks awesome.
Xander looks like Isaac to me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Is it Isaac? Isaac, are you out there?
I don't know. It got that Isaac
I'll play
smile.
Nameen Hymntide. That's pretty cool. Hymntide? Music? Hymns? Tides? You may have made a mistake.
Tied in the name. I might go there.
David says, you guys are doing awesome work. Please keep it up. Thank you, really. And this year's been really crazy for a lot of reasons, but it's been such a cool thing. Because like this year we've added to our lineup of supported games, Skytear, Flesh and Blood, and now Ashes.
One of the best titles we've ever had.
And like the ability to work again with these smaller publishers who are, it's kind of more art house, right? It's
kind of an indie publisher, yeah.
So up our alley, and it's
like an indie record label, really.
Such a it's just so cool to be able to do. So we feel it's just incredible.
Smaller passion projects, man, bring it on.
David says, your last 3 casts, by the way, are fantastic. We're doing a mini-series on how to ruin a game. if you're
You guys
wondering.
wanna know?
And we're kind of going, so I'm glad you're digging that.
Kevin Steer, good question. If you get to 1,000 by tomorrow, say, when does this start shipping? I mean, we're probably in the months timeline. Development has been ongoing for a couple of months on the Plaid Hat end. But as far as when they can actually, press the button, get the product over here, that kind of thing, we don't know that. But I would say if I were guessing, the 3 to 6 month range is probably where it is, maybe sooner.
You're Done Bacon says, so this means we'll see more ashes from y'all.
Yeah, it does.
As the, yes, we're fully on board with this to try to make this happen. And assuming there's enough people that sign up to get this product, this is going to be a regular feature on the channel. So this is cool. I just want to show what's in a pack real quick, right?
Yeah,
So
please do.
I have Nameen here, who's my Phoenixborn. She's got a Battlefield of 6, a little wider than my Mayoni deck. Spellboard of 4, 17 health. She has Calming Melody, Side Action, Exhaust, Music Symbol. Draw a card. I can place an Exhaustion token on this card and an Exhaustion token on a target Phoenixborn. Whew, that's crazy. She can mess with a Phoenixborn. But then I have basically some spells up front, which, so like as an example, I have Summon Salamander Monk. I'm excited about that. I think that's the art of that you posted in the pictures.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my goodness, this is a fantastic deck. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to go ahead and grab one for my opening hand. You get to pick your starting 5. I haven't looked at these cards. I don't really know what they do, but I'm going to figure this out. Next, I have Summon Squall Stallion. So I assume I want both of my summoning spells up front. Then I'm looking, and I have a couple more spells that start and stay in play. So I have Magic Siphon and Guilt Link. So I'm going to start with all those, one copy, and I have the other 2 in my deck so that they can get focused. I'm actually also, if you look at the back of the cards, which is one of their best features, you want to give me a top down? I forgot about
Absolutely, yeah.
that. The cards with the black background on them are your conjurations, so those can just go over to the side, and then the rest is your actual standard deck. So then, as far as what else to start with, I don't even know.
As far as what you look for. So what I'm doing here, so I've got actually 3 types of magic in this deck. So Summon Sarasaurus Mount uses Divine and Nature. So I know that that's happening. So I need to give Divine and Nature dice. But then I look and I see that I also have in this deck a Raptor Herder. And the Raptor Herder has a music symbol. So I need at least 1 or 2 sympathy die to make sure that I can play this guy. So I know that I haven't seen much sympathy magic. So I'm going to look through and just kind of find anything else that might need it. And when I do that, I'm going to basically build my pool from there. And I think that if I get in here, I'm going to find maybe that's the only unit that uses it. And that's true. So given that's the case, I'm only going to have 1 sympathy die. So that's going to be the thing that I use if I need to cast this Raptor Herder. And then I'm going to have 4 Nature and 5 Divine, and we'll see how that goes.
John asking, so someone's saying there's different core sets. As far as I know, there aren't different core sets, but they may have done a reprint at some point with some extra or updates or whatnot. But I assume anything in the 1.5 upgrade would also fix any of that stuff. So I don't think it's a big deal. Luke's saying you don't need sympathy dice.
Well, this is 30 cards right here, so I'm doing it. It's already happened. It's already happened.
When icons are linked, it's an or statement.
Oh, cool.
Which
There
is
you
good
go.
because
Okay.
I looked.
That makes sense.
I literally don't have anything except sympathy, so I would want.
So let's pull up Raptor Herder then again. So, oh, I see. Okay, so you see that bridge?
Yeah, that means you can pay one or the other.
All right, nice.
Which is very cool.
Very nice. Okay, so let's go to 6 and 4. Seems like it's right. That's how I do it.
I'm gonna look for a card because I need a 5th card.
And this one has the mounts. So we're going to use the new mount rules. You slide wherever you play it, you can slide the unit under, and then whenever the mount leaves play, you put the unit back in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah. 5 Divine, 5 Nature. Okay, we'll do that. It's technically the official word. 5 and 5. Nameen suggested, yeah. Can you give me a suggested on Xander? Is that on the homepage on the Plaid Hat page?
Yeah.
These are so great seeing cards that I haven't seen before. What's the sympathy magic do? What's its thing?
Draw a card, then place 1 card from my hand on the top or bottom of my draw deck.
Oh, nice.
So just filter.
Control.
Alex saying Namine is 10 sympathy, Xander is 5 nature, 5 divine.
Remove die symbols that must be sent to play the card from an action. Exhaust and discard not included in magic play costs. X equals 0. Okay.
I'm going to get some more water before we dive in.
Yeah, please do. No, I'm good. And then who was the first one? Who was the first one that introduced the divine magic? What was that Phoenixborn? I'm going to take a crack at just guessing who it was. Is it Astria? I'm gonna guess it was Odette. Thank you. Let's see if we got Odette in here. I don't think I do have Odette. Oh, there it is. Odette Diamond Crest. Okay, so Odette has the divine magic card. So I'm just gonna pull that out so I can reference the ability, because I don't know it off the top of my head because I'm just brand new. Late to the party with you. Yeah, Yoda Taco, guess who has 2 thumbs and all of his Ashes cards dug out and on the kitchen table? This guy.
That's awesome.
All right, so Divine Magic thing is side action to place the die used to cast it on a target unit.
Okay.
When it would receive damage, you may place it in your exhausted pool to prevent up to 2 of that damage. If it's still on a unit at the beginning of your next turn, exhaust it. So it's basically a shield, whereas the snake is a buff.
Oh, okay.
So it prevents 2 damage if I cast it, check it in.
All right.
Let's get into some rugged, improperly played Ashes. What do you think?
Well,
gonna have
luckily,
to-
most people out there probably won't know better.
I'm gonna have to figure out my 5-card hand first. I definitely want to summon this mount.
Yeah, I got my summons. I literally had 4 spells.
Definitely want a Hydra. Yeah, so
Dude,
you know.
the art on yours is
I know, it's so good.
crazy. You got dinosaurs?
Uh-huh.
Get out of town.
And the genius deal. Okay. Then why don't we do like? Wow, that's so good. That's so good. I love these cards. Let's do a Pain Shaman
That sounds fun.
and a Raptor Herder.
Stuart says any of the allies.
Yeah. I need them to ride these dinos.
Dude, wait till you see my conjurations.
I'm ready.
You ever seen a squall stallion?
Nope.
You have seen.
Is that like a storm horse? Yep.
Look at this guy, salamander monk.
Oh, that salamander monk looks so cool.
This is the best part. Have you seen the salamander monk spirit?
No. Ooh, my God.
When you destroy the salamander monk, place the salamander monk spirit conjuration onto your battlefield.
Ah, that's it. Jonathan. Jonathan would love that. It looks like Ditter Lizzie, does it not, Jonathan?
It's so next level. This is hilarious. I haven't seen some of these cards.
Take care, Ben. Cheers. We appreciate it.
I love it. He says, Ben says, I'm hitting the hay. Thought I'd be saying thanks for the throwback, but it turns out, here's to the future. Good night. God bless. See ya, Ben.
Okay, so I've got these big, dude. I'm gonna be hitting you with these Hydras. You're not even gonna know what's happening.
You got the dinos.
You're not even gonna know. Where's Demona? Demona needs those. That's for her.
I'm playing a song, dude. 3 basics.
I've got an all form the head, also 3. What do we do? Do we
Try again.
roll them again?
Yep. All right. 4, 5.
4.
I'm first.
5.
Oh, no. Who's on first? What's on second?
5.
3.
All right. Apparently in Ashes 1.5, the rule has changed. You can choose first or second.
If you win.
I'm
like that a lot.
going to choose first.
Because that's so if you don't want to go first and you have a worse die start, that's double bad for you. That makes a lot of sense. So we said you're first. Also, this is a good. So these are the heroes.
These dice are beautiful.
These are the heroes that come in the deluxe boxes that we've been talking about.
Yep. I don't know that Xander does. Does Xander? Because Odette had the actual Divine Magic card.
Oh, it is Odette.
Yeah.
So mine is the...
All right, where'd my other card go? Summon Mount, Summon
Stefano
Hydra.
says, I love this game so much. The tournaments with the translucent dice as prizes are some of the best memories I've ever had.
I lost my...
Damon says, good morning from Australia, and what a morning to wake up to. Ashes has arisen.
That's
Giddy
right.
up. Let's go.
All right, I'll take a Sacred Ground. That seems relevant.
Jeremy asking, what's your opinion on the first 5 rule, which is where you get to pick your 5 starting cards? Do you think it should stay the same for 1.5 or be adjusted?
I think it's a critical part of the game.
So I think it's really important, but obviously the designers have to be super careful about it, because when you start with any 5 cards that you want, combos are way easy to pull off. So the game has to honor the fact that no combination of cards can be so good that it creates an unwinnable scenario after the first turn. But if both players are creating their ideal hand based on seeing their opponent's Phoenixborn, it's like an arms race, right?
My sole goal in this game, Zach, is to get this dinosaur out, so I'm going to do that now.
Well, I believe.
Let's start with Summon Ceratosaurus Mount. It cost me an action and a basic, so I'll spend a basic here. And then I will not take a side action. I'll pass it back over to you.
Okay. My side action.
I'll put it over here
Or my
so you guys
action.
can see it better.
What's your action? What's your Phoenixborn do?
So I can get an ally from a discard pile into my hand.
Okay.
And we have to have a ready ally to play a mount, and it goes under it when you play it. So he wants to keep those allies coming to ride these dinos.
Okay. I will play a Summon Salamander Monk. And then it's your turn.
John, those would be great. Frosty Giants and Children of Black Eye was the first joint expansion for the game, and was the first release at Ashes Weekend, designed to kind of be played against each other. So that would be a phenomenal start. Ice versus fire, it's a tale as old as time. Okay, then next up, let's play a Pain Shaman. Look at how cool that looks.
Art.
I know,
Get
it's just
out of
unbelievable.
town. You have a Pain Shaman riding into town on a Rex? I mean,
About to be.
Flip the table.
All right, so a lion, a leaf, and a wardrobe. Let me see what other
Stuart
things
says,
I need.
Steven, you can't play that.
Can't play it. Why can't I play it? Trying to figure out why. After the unit receives damage, you may deal 1 damage.
I got nothing. Oh, the dino. Yeah, you can't do the dino yet. That's
I
fine.
can't do the dino yet. That's fine. Yeah, dino's actually a side action to play, so you can. Pain Shaman into play. Going to use a lion, leaf, basic.
I love this comment from Kevin. Team Covenant, reuniting communities.
Oh,
Very. It's
Strive for
amazing
it.
that we get to try to do this.
let's do here. And here. Okay, paid for. Done.
right.
Pain Shaman is the main action. Now I could, it says exchange. Oh wait, that was the wrong one. Hold on. I didn't mean to play that. I mean to play the Raptor Herder. That's the idea. Raptor Herder. Main action, and then I can pay a leaf or a flute. So I'll pay the leaf to get that in. Now this is what I'm talking about. When this unit comes into play, place Raptor Hatchling onto your battlefield. So he's bringing in the Raptors. Has Group Tactics 2 on the Raptor Hatchling, attacks for 0. After you declare 3 or more attackers, add 2 to this attack value. So if he attacks in a group, the Raptors get good, otherwise they don't do any damage.
Just like a raptor.
Yeah, it's so good.
Let me look at this Raptor Herder. I got it. So you want him to leave play, get him back with this guy again. Raptor
100%.
it out. Okay.
So then side action, I'm going to go ahead and use it.
Okay.
Side action on Summon Ceratosaurus Mount. Exhaust, spend a leaf, spend an angel. Remove an unexhausted ally you control from play. Put the Ceratosaurus Mount into play. So look, it's literally in the art. I feel like it's riding it.
So the Ceratosaurus, the way the new mount rules work, the unit goes face down under. Ceratosaurus comes into play.
And that's all standard. That's how it's
I get
always
it.
worked.
That's how you get to keep putting them into play to get more of those raptors.
But then when this Ceratosaurus Mount comes out of play, this guy goes back in my hand. I can play him again. Way, way better. Makes a
dude,
lot
check
of
this out.
sense.
Yoda Taco says, I can't tell you how happy I am. I immediately notified all my old Ashes buddies. I subscribed to 2 subscriptions and went and bought the decks I was missing from Plaid Hat.
That's fantastic. Hey, and just so you know, like you can have, if you we're looking at total products, not total subscribers. So if you have one subscription with 6 products, it counts as 6 towards the total for hitting the print run. So if anyone out there is doing subscriptions at like 1, 1, 1, 1 because that's how you think it's going to work,
don't do that.
You can do one. It's way better. Just do one subscription and however many products that you want in that sub. Now, if you want to share it with your group, one subscription, one shipping charge, 20 products. That's a great way to do it. It's a good way to save some cash.
Yeah. All right, mine.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take an action here with Summon Salamander Monk. Exhaust, I have to play some music for you. I'm just getting the blocker out. Look at this guy. Salamander Monk. He's a 1/1/0. When this unit is destroyed, place a Salamander Monk Spirit Conjuration onto my battlefield.
Okay. Well, dude, I'm going to eat that monk.
He kills me.
Let's see. What does he do? Just a 1/1. He's just a little mist, a little river guy.
Yep.
I love that thing so much. I love that so much. And what do you do? You're just a draw filter kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay.
I can exhaust you.
Me?
Yep.
As a person?
Draw a card, place an exhaustion token on this card, and one exhaustion token on a target Phoenixborn.
Okay.
So once that ally hits a discard pile, you're going down.
Connor O'Neill, Ashes is totally safe for work. That was spoils. Okay, so you're saying...
Ben saying more than one kit is needed for 2 players, right? So you can definitely play with one core set. You just can't run 10 dice each. If you're only going to do one core set, just buy extra dice colors of all the dice. I think they have those packs on Plaid Hat's website.
All right, 1 lion coming in for Sacred Ground. It's a ready spell. It says when an opponent would use a spell that affects all units or each unexhausted unit, you may discard this spell to cancel. So I can always discard Sacred Ground to cancel a mass unexhaust or a mass removal spell. And then after a player has declared attackers, I can exhaust this spell to have all units gain Armored 1, basically prevent 1 damage. So if I exhaust this while you're attacking, all of my stuff gets Armor 1 for that attack.
Okay. That could be really good.
Could be really good. And then side action, I have none.
All right. I'm going to play Summon Squall Stallion as my action, and it costs me a horse to play it. Whew.
Actually, let me take a side action to turn this up. Turn this up, but it up, but it know I got deep and bump it.
There's your Raptor Herder. So, as my side action, I will exhaust and play some more music to exhaust your Phoenixborn.
Okay.
Don't you love that?
You must be fun.
You're welcome, Ben.
Okay. All right.
You're done saying, do you know if Isaac and the original artist are returning? I don't know about Fernanda, the artist, but I do know that Isaac is basically playing a very consulting role. And then the lead playtester for 1.0, Nick, is actually the lead developer for the 1.5. And Isaac couldn't speak more highly of Nick.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you block all of a mass unit attack with 1 unit?
So each unit can block 1 unit.
Okay.
So if you had like 10 things, I would have to block those individually. Anything I can't block is going through on my Phoenix.
Yeah. Okay, well let's see if we do action, angel, thing.
Is that what that is?
Oh, it's an action spell.
Oh, angel. I see the angel.
It can be an angel, yeah. Cool. And then 1 here. Does that leave me enough? No, it leaves me 1 shy. So I've got to make a choice here. Let's see what this guy does. So this is just a big thing deck.
Big things. You mean giant dinosaur? Don't mind if I do.
Oh my gosh, how amazing is this?
I'm waiting for it.
Oh man, let's get it. Let's get some cool things on the board. Summon Shining Hydra is an action spell, so it doesn't come back to my my ready spell board. I'm going to spend an angel. Remember, anything higher than an angel can count.
Pardon me.
A leaf and a basic. Dude, check it out. It puts a Shining Hydra into play. Look at that card.
Get out of town.
No, check it out. Check it out.
Hold on.
Look at it.
I need a second.
Read it. And then
Shining
I'll put this
Hydra,
in front of you.
Conjuration battlefield, regenerate heads. After 1 or more wound tokens are placed on this unit as a result, of damage. If this unit is not destroyed, attach a Shining Hydra head, conjure an alteration spell to this unit. And then the Shining Hydra head is this unit has the following ability: Terrifying 1. The unit cannot be blocked or guarded against by units with an attack value of 1 or less. Fleeting, discard this card at the end of the round, and it gives him +1 attack, +1 life, +1. So if he takes 1, he gets.
So if you start
bigger.
chopping, but you don't do the deed, it starts getting worse for you.
That's so cool.
Or if I find a way to do damage to that unit, then obviously you can make your own Hydra.
Like with a frog.
Like with a frog. That would be a good way to do it, Zach. I'm glad
Yeah.
you mentioned that. And speaking of,
This is awesome to hear. Benjamin says, I know Nick personally and I've been playing with him since the game launched. I can't speak more highly of him as an individual and as a card game player. Him leading the development of the continued development is an amazing thing. I couldn't think of a better person to take over the role. That's very nice.
and you discard the Hydra head at the end of the round. I understand. Okay, so then my side action, I'm going to use a frog to do 1 damage here. And throw the shining head on. Can't be blocked by anything with 1 attack or less.
Yep.
And has now a 4 attack.
Do you want to put the, you can, if you do this, you can see the text.
But I want to see the head.
But I can't see what it
Look
does.
Look at it. It's coming at
Grr.
you. Here,
That reminds me of the
We'll do this. We'll slide
old
it at
spoils tutorial we did.
Yeah.
Where it's like the cards are like, the mouse like, meow.
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of. We were like,
Take care, you're done baking.
Okay, mine?
Yeah.
I'm going to play Guilt Link. I play some more music and take an action. And then it's a ready spell. It says, when my Phoenixborn receives 1 or more damage, I can place an exhaustion token on this spell to place a wound token on a target unit or Phoenixborn. That player that controls that targeted unit or Phoenixborn may discard a ready spell they control or 1 unit they control to prevent that wound token from being placed.
Right, please. Hit me.
Oh, no.
Now, this goes away at the end of the turn, and the damage doesn't recover any. So, like, you can kind of juice it up, and then it will eventually die, which is really cool. Yeah, we don't have, we'll do an Ashes. We might do some Ashes learning videos. I mean, the stream series is going to be a lot of that.
They also, there's a really great Watch It Played video.
Yeah, Rodney did a great job.
They did, so you can just look for that. It's a like a 20-minute video.
Early Rodney there. Okay.
Now Yoda Taco is saying he wants to see deck building videos, so that is something we will definitely get into.
I'll do this for you. All right, Zach, you want to see some business here?
Let's get down to business.
To defeat the Huns. Swinging with all 3 at your Phoenixborn.
And he can't block him,
Right.
but
He's
he
at
can block
+2.
this thing.
He can't block this thing. It has overkill. So if it destroys a unit, it does 1 to your Phoenixborn.
So he's the guy.
He's probably the guy. Yeah, you can kill the hatchling.
All right.
Now what I can also do, and this is relevant, is this Sacred Ground ability is going to mess with you.
Armor.
It gives everybody armor 1, including yours. It makes the whole battlefield sacred. But if I do that, so I've got 1 armor here, it prevents your 1. I've got 2 attack here, it prevents 1 of those, and so I'd still kill you. You wouldn't kill me, and then we'd be in a good spot. So maybe you don't block. I don't know.
I'm blocking. I'm definitely blocking.
Okay,
I
you're
gotta
blocking.
get my spirit out.
Okay, so then here we'll use Sacred Ground. This might be a spell that gets changed too, because it's one of those win. After a player has declared attackers, which is me, you may place 1 exhaustion token on this spell. I would do this before you block. Everything's going to get armor 1. So then you still want to block, right? I'm guessing? Would you still like to block?
Yep.
Okay. So 3 damage.
So you strike 1 at a time. You get to decide.
Ooh, 1 at a time.
We haven't gotten to this layer yet.
Yeah, okay. Let's start with the hatchling while I have 3 things, so it's going to do 2 damage to the monk.
That's gonna be great for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I do 1 back to you.
Yeah. So armor -1, armor -1. You take 1. I
Okay.
take 0.
Salamander Monk has spirit form. When this unit is destroyed, place a Salamander Monk spirit conjuration on my
You wanted that
battlefield.
spirit, didn't you?
Yeah. So I just want to see it. Salamander Monk spirit says transparent. This unit cannot block. It also cannot be chosen as the target of an attack.
Oh, nice.
So it's just like pinging you for 1 from now on.
It's just like annoying me forever.
Yeah. Now, when my unit gets destroyed, I'm also going to react with Shatter Pulse. So it's two musics and a basic. And it says I can play this spell after a unit I control is destroyed. Destroy a target unit.
Very nice.
I can change 2 dice and a target player's active pool to sides of my choice. So I will destroy...
Yours or mine? Let's get down to
Let's destroy the Hydra.
The Hydra's gone.
I want none of that. And then I'll change these 2 basics into horsies.
Horse on.
Is he related to Gaston?
All right, and then second attack, we'll do 3 there.
Got me. I forget how much I like these tokens.
Yeah.
The orange and blue together right there
They
just
hit.
like pops.
They hit.
What do they call it? I won't go there. Oh, and then also, Guilt Link, when a Phoenixborn receives 1 or more damage, and I can place an exhaustion token here and do a damage to a unit or a Phoenixborn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll attempt to get your Raptor.
I think Armored 1 would still count.
Then I'll do 1 to this thing.
Xander?
Mm-hmm.
And I can discard a unit to prevent. I don't want to do that. Or a ready
unit
spell.
or a spell, yeah.
I'm not doing that. You got me.
My action, because that was me blocking.
Alex, so the damage from the Hydra wouldn't have happened, and this is one of the things that they're cleaning up in 1.5.
Does it still happen?
Well, I don't think so. If we do 1 at a time and then you react to that unit leaving play,
So yeah.
or do they all swing at the same time? Can you look up the attack rules?
I feel like that's crazy. Because if you had like 5 things resolving all at once and you had to remember like what was destroyed and not.
Yeah. Let's see how it works. If you have to do the 1 at a time ping thing. Ping ting. And the armor wouldn't apply to that because it says place a wound rather than do damage.
Okay.
So if you want to kill the
I'll
raptor.
kill the raptor, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about you.
Raptor, hatchling, you're gone.
Chat's going to get it before I get it. 1 at a time in an order of your choosing. Resolve each attacking unit's damage. If the attacking unit is blocked, deal amount of damage equal to the defender, then place an exhaustion, etc. Then the defender gets to choose. If they counter, exhaust, do the stuff. So it's just
so
1 at a time.
That would all happen. The first attack that I made against your thing, that unit gets destroyed, so it doesn't have a chance to attack. That's absolutely how it would work, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and use an action and play some music and a basic, and we'll summon
We attack the Phoenixborn, Stuart. That was the key.
a Squall Stallion. It says when you draw 1 or more cards during a turn, add 2 to this unit's attack for the remainder of that turn.
Oh, that makes your sense with your ability, huh? Cool. I love that card. Awesome. It's so fun. Okay. Place the Chinese execution ability, pull, and prevent 2 damage. Huh. Alright, I'll pass.
Okay. I'll attack your Phoenixborn with both of these guys.
For 2?
For 2.
Take 2.
Got him.
I can only have 3 spells, too. I'll pass.
I'm going to play Magic Siphon. I'm going to do this so you can see it. Magic Siphon cost me a die. That's why I didn't use my side action here. This has a side action. Exhaust it. Change a die in my active pool to a side of my choice. Change a die in a target player's active pool to a side of my choice. So I can do 2 of mine or 1 of mine and 1 of yours.
Okay. Pass again.
I'll pass.
All right.
So we remove all these.
Roll them up. Unexhaust.
Pass this bad boy.
I don't want to draw any. I'll go ahead and add this die back to my. Oh man. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to go ahead and roll.
I've got 3. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter indeed. I'm
But I just
playing
wanna
all
let you know.
sorts of music here.
Nothing but tunes. DJ Zach in the house.
Big tunes. DJ Zach, that's funny to think about.
Charlie Tunesa.
Run it, Charlie.
Run it. Yeah, it could be Facebook. Q Kirshner. Facebook or YouTube.
That's a good card. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, Ronnie, we're going to get you back. Let's go. You want to do another how to play video? You want to fly us up to Canada?
We'll fly you down. Let's go.
But I want to go to Canada. I guess we can't really do that anymore,
Yeah, it's
right?
not exactly a time for that.
Sending zombies over the border at this point.
Sorry, I'm gonna need a second.
Don't exhaust me, by the way, please. Would you stop that already? Team up, that's right. This is the Watch It Played live variation.
That's right.
We're gonna need all that fancy cutting and professional production
All right, let's start here.
and charming talent.
Side action. I'll play you a song and exhaust your Phoenixborn.
Quit!
Isn't that fun?
I can't do anything about it?
When you're first player, you can do that as your first thing. But you're not currently first player.
So you're like, denying the fun that I might want to be having?
I actually draw a card. Forgot about that part of that.
Draw one card and then exhaust you to exhaust me.
Then when I draw a card, this gets +2 for the round. Let's just go ahead and do this.
Yep, that's correct.
So now the old horsey's at 3.
Horse at 3.
You got 3 life here.
3 life to live, that's right.
Why not? Stallion coming in.
Don't sleep on the armor business.
Bummer.
But, I mean, you would take 2, I would take 2, and nobody would die.
That's not what I like. That's not what I'm here for.
Come on in. Come on in. Let's go. Horses versus dinos. Let's go.
I'll just swing at you. If you want to block, you can block.
Yes. I will block.
Watch It Played says, these guys are actually letting you watch it played. I need to throw in the towel. Yeah, just send us all your logins. We'll take it over.
I'm going to block, Zach.
All right.
Kill each other?
Yep.
You got any fancy business?
Nope.
Okay.
My
This goes back to my
horse.
hand
Yep.
per the new mount rules.
I'm with it.
My horse. My horse. All right. I'll your favorite of mine. I'll do a little raptor herder here for my main action. That'll get a little raptor hatch thing in here, and then you guessed it. Let's put him on about dino.
Also, if you learned how to play Ashes from Rodney at Watch It Played, you should send your
Let us
regards
know.
now.
Let
He's
us
in the
know.
chat right now.
Put it in the
so
chat. Anybody who learned how to play from Rodney.
Anything? That's going to be a long list of people.
Yeah, that's too much.
All right.
Cerosaurus coming back in.
This art is phenomenal.
I love this so much. These dinos and raptors, man. I was such a... The Dino Kid is a real thing. Did you know that? They have a term for like our generation of kids that love dinosaurs.
It's you.
It's me. It's Jonathan and I.
All right.
Stuart, this is the new rules for Ashes 1.5. Allies that are under the mount go back to hand per Nick in the interview that we had with him earlier this week.
All right, I'm going to meditate. 1. We're going to turn this basic into a horsey. Then I'm going to play a River Scald.
Look at that art, though.
It's so, the color of this is crazy. I spend a horse, I play some music, and then I go back to basics. And he comes into play. Now he has this thing. He's a 3 attack, 3 life, 2 recover. He has a harsh melody. When I draw 1 or more cards during my turn, I can place an exhaustion token on this unit to place a number of wounds equal to his attack on a target unit. So when I draw,
3?
I can exhaust him and do 3 to something.
He's got to die.
Your action.
Right now.
Right now!
This thing's got to go. Huh.
That's so nice to hear, Rodney. Says, let me tell you, one of my fondest memories was going to the first Ashes tournament held at Team Covenant. Such a passionate, fun group. Truly special. Honor was ours, man.
You're special.
He says, it's so appropriate they're bringing this game back. Perfect pairing.
Bash, we can't talk about all the new rules. All that we know is that this is the new mount rule. It's from an interview we had with Nick, but otherwise we don't have access to any of that.
We also
stuff.
know the illusion power side is now change 2 dice, not remove a die.
That's right. So we're picking it up as we go, just from conversations with Nick. Hopefully we'll get more of the rules so we can stream it over the next couple of weeks.
We're planning on streaming Ashes for at least a little while on Wednesday. So like next Wednesday we'll be doing it. And hopefully we'll get more information as we go that we can reveal, especially as the subscriber count keeps ticking up.
All right, hey, I'm going to try to hit that bard.
I just now got the joke in chat when someone said death by bard. A 3 attack?
3 to 3 to 3 to 3.
I'm going to block with Nameen.
Mm-hmm. Take 3. Call me in the morning, right?
Did it.
Keep in mind, I can take a main action anytime to discard this unit, and so that will send the raptor guy back to my hand. So if you exhaust him down a bunch, I'm just gonna put him away.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm hip, and I'm with it.
And then...
and when I take damage, how about this? Guilt link.
Quit guilt linking me.
Damage there, or...
Gosh. Why you feel so guilty? This is dinosaurs, man.
I'm just playing songs, and you're beating me up.
This is the worst deck that I want to play so badly.
I feel like you're going to be such a Namine fan, it hurts me.
This is definitely... I'm going to be playing this River Skull no matter what it takes. Look at that art, though. Yeah, you got me.
See you, Rodney. Thanks for jumping in.
Take care.
All right. So then it's my action.
Yeah.
Well, my man. Let's take an action.
Imagine that.
Picture this. I'm going to summon a Squall Stallion. Cost me a music and a basic.
You get this big board and then you just draw a card and make it awesome, basically, right? That's the coolest thing a bard has ever done in all of gaming.
That is what I'm going to do. Squall Stallion hanging out with my Salamander Monk Spirit and my River Scald. And then my side action, I'm going to actually meditate.
Seems appropriate.
I'm going to turn 2 of these to horsies.
Okay. Well, don't sleep now. Here comes a Pain Shaman. We got a Lion. We got a Leaf. And we got a Basic.
No tigers or bears?
No tigers or bears. Has a 2 attack and 3 life and 3 recover, which is nice. After it receives damage, I can deal 1 to a target unit or remove a wound token. So I can heal something or I can damage something whenever he takes a damage.
Cool, 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 cool.
And then for my side action, I'm going to look and see if I need to flip any dice up to the magic moment here.
What?
Oh, I'll go ahead and flip up to Frog, right? Frog's always useful.
All right, mine?
Oh, so I can Frog this Monk Spirit.
Sure can.
Yeah, I need to be doing that.
This Monk Spirit.
Immediately.
Don't touch the Monk Spirit.
Stuart, no, we're only doing the 2 that we know about. So the Illusion Magic is different, which doesn't matter here, and then the Mount Rules, which we know are different.
All right. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use my horsey side action. Draw a card, then place a card
I mean, come on. This
from
is
my
like,
hand on the bottom of my deck.
It's so nice, honestly, to get away from, like, you know, axes and swords.
Yeah.
Still.
It's just like fantastical
2020.
magic, right? And
I'm
like
happy to have Flesh and Blood as that game for me, but like
Yeah.
aside from that, I just want to get like weird and fun and like look at the River Skull, look at the Stallion.
This has a light, but still somehow not goofy vibe.
It's amazing. It's unusual to see that.
All right, so when I draw a card, I'm going to play a Harsh Melody, and we're going to do 3 damage here.
Nothing to be done there. After it receives damage, I can deal a damage to a unit or remove a wound token. I'm going to deal a damage to a unit. You heard it here first. Yeah, let's do it to the boyo.
Spirit. Also, my Stallion gets +2 for the remainder of the turn.
It's so good.
And then my Stallion will swing in at you for 3.
Yeah, nothing I can do there. I'll take 3.
Desperado.
Oh, I should just do this. Well, no, armor only applies to units.
Squire Kirshner says, my best Ashes memory was playing at the last pro event at Gen Con. I'm a casual player, so I had a janky pile of Auric Gilstream and no plan to win a game. Everyone was so awesome, not a competitive feel at all. Even the beatdowns were enjoyable.
That's so nice.
Simon says, do you think Destiny was inspired by the system, or could it be the other way around? So my assumption is Destiny had to at least be in development by the time Ashes even came out. So how much it was inspired by, I don't know, but obviously there was some. It reminds me, I read this book on like innovation and invention of the like computer technology in the past 100 years, and the number of things that were like simultaneously being figured out and discovered across the country with people that never talked to each other. Obviously back then didn't have cell phones, the internet and stuff. So, but they also figured out like the microchip in different ways is super fascinating. So I wouldn't be surprised if you just basically had people playing similar games and wanting something different on a same approach, and then you have this kind of stuff spinning out.
Hey, I got some business for you here. You ready for some business? Main action. Let's discard this unit.
Oh, I did miss this. Namine's ability exhausts her twice.
Oh,
It's an exhaustion, and then you get the exhaustion.
That's so much better. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so main action to discard this Stegosaurus mount. Per the new mount rules, that puts the Raptor Herder back in my hand.
Okay.
And then no side action to speak of.
Mine?
Yep.
Desperado. Let's exhaust my Summon Salamander Monk and
I
play
love
some
those guys,
tunes. Yeah,
man.
this deck is just hilarious.
It's so cool.
Look at these guys.
Woo! It's like Studio Ghibli, Ditter Lizzie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got that beautiful vibe. Let's see, Raptor Herder for a leaf to bring Raptor Man in.
Desperado.
I can't tell you how amazing it is to have dinos involved. Over to you, Bun.
Mm-hmm. Let's side action, exhaust, change a die in my active pool to a side of my choice, and then change a die in a target active pool to a side of my choice. Let's go ahead and get rid of that froggy.
Give me a leaf or something.
Then as a main action, let's...
Jared Pine, that is a great comment. I feel like Zach's deck is the result of doing some stuff out in the desert while listening to the Doors.
Never has a truer statement been expressed.
That's really funny.
Let's actually upgrade my Guilt Link.
Upgrade says.
So when I take damage, I can do damage to something.
Yeah, you can trigger those twice, presumably. Yeah. Later on. All right, I'm going to play the Summon Stegosaurus mount as my own little double here. It could cost me 1 symbol. And then side action, I'll flip this up for... Actually, I might do 1 out of hand. I'll do 1 out of hand. Flip this up to this guy. What's up, Dayton? Cloud Builder, the only thing that we know, the new mount rules, whenever a mount leaves play, the unit exhausted goes back to hand, or the unit underneath goes back to hand. And then Illusion Magic, you spin down 2 dice rather than removing 1 from the pool. So Nick was saying they're not going to do any hard removal of dice, or at least that's going to be frowned upon. They're not interested in that mechanic. Just like removing your opponent's dice isn't a thing. Man, Dinotopia was sick, Sony.
All right, I'm going to attack. You with my Salamander Monk.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to play... This is something... Oh, wrong card. Where is that? I'm going to play Crescendo.
Oof.
Which is something I think they're looking to get rid of in the future, is this kind of thing. But you may play the spell after you've declared attackers, and it costs me 1, and it has a little discard symbol. So I have to discard a card.
So this is, yeah, see, we see this right now, what's happening. Because I have a thing that says, after a player has declared attackers, and this says you may play this after you've declared attackers. So we'll just resolve it like we would assume it resolves. Active player gets to do it first.
Yeah. So I'm going to discard. It says, deal damage to a target unit I control.
Okay.
So I'll do 1 here. To deal 3 damage to a target unit you control.
Mm-hmm.
So I will get rid of the Raptor Herder.
This guy?
Mm-hmm.
He gone.
And then I have a 1 damage attack coming. And you have a trigger if you want to use it.
I will go ahead and trigger this. Everybody's going to get 1 armor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll block here.
All right. Then we fizzle. Fizzle,
And
fizzle.
I'm not going to attack back because I have 0 attack.
Yep.
There's really no reason for it. Okay, so now I've got some business.
Sergio saying, is this going to be a complete new edition requiring replacements of current collections, or will the current components be usable going forward? Not everything, but what you have is currently viable. So the upgrade kit, the first thing coming through the subscription, will replace about 30% of the cards that are currently in the game. So if you already own everything, just get that and you're good to go. And you're off to the races, really. Dayton, sometimes YouTube takes a couple days to process that stuff.
Okay, I'm going to discard this to meditate up. I'm sorry, not frog to that. Up to lion, and then I'll pass my main action.
Pass.
All right, let's do it up.
1 exhaustion off everything. Don't forget to recover if you have damage. I finally actually have that happening.
Yeah, you are going to recover.
This passes to you.
Thanks.
You can keep any number of dice you want. You can discard any cards you want, and you draw.
I'm going to keep my biggins.
Well, you roll, then you draw. Desperado.
Were you just singing that earlier?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I got horses on my dice.
Well, there you go.
It
More
writes
needs to be
itself,
said.
really.
Yeah. Okay, and the leaf's in there. All right, so I get to go first now. Very nice.
Jackman says, crashing the stream to mention that I'm watching your Marvel videos, and it's hilarious to watch you guys play Thor for the first time.
Yeah, it was really bad, right? And then we figured it out.
Dayton's saying, what would you recommend if you want to get in the game fresh? It's really straightforward. Core set, it's on Plaid Hat's website. Subscription gets you the upgrade kit, which is going to get you like a bunch of cards that are all pretty much playable with the core set. And then beyond that, if you want to go more, they're having a sale on all the expansions right now. There's 2 boxes. It's the Law of Lions and the Song of Soaksend. It comes with 2 of the dice. So actually 2 we're playing here, the teal and the like white and gold ones. And that's an incredible start. Those are the deluxes come with storage containers. You get all the dice. You have all the cards. And then past that, I would just browse through the Phoenixborn and see if any of them that you like. I think that right now they're $7.50 or $8 on Plaid Hat's website. So that's a great way to just get into the game.
Good night, Stuart. Take care. Okay, so why don't we do what's your battlefield?
6.
Oof.
Nadine,
But you're full up on spells, so I don't have to worry about any more spells. Now you can also meditate them off the board.
That's right.
That's the key thing, and that became more relevant later on. Okay, I'm gonna do reincarnate, spend an angel as a side action, and exhaust Xander. Oh, he should have been unexhausted.
Some of this
Exhaust
art is murdering
Xander.
me.
Put an ally into my hand. It's gonna be Raptor Man. Then the main action,
Chris
we're gonna
Pratt?
play Raptor Herder, using a die and getting another Raptor into play.
Daniel's saying, is there a good way to get a sense of the theming and basic mechanics of each of the Phoenixborn? That's a good question.
I don't know.
I
We
think-
should do it. We'll do that on their video series on the streams
Yeah.
for sure. We may do that next time.
Yeah. Breaking them down. That may be exactly what we do next time.
Tresman, isn't it amazing? Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable art, honestly. All right, so side action, get an ally with Xander's ability, and then play the Raptor Herder and put one on the battlefield. Raptors attack.
Okay, so let's do this. No.
Take care, Kevin. Born Baron, yeah, we are. So we're trying to get into the UK, Europe fulfillment. It'll be a bit, but we're doing our best.
Philip Gamble, this is a good point, saying that they still have the release articles on the Plaid Hat website,
Oh,
which
right
gives
on.
a breakdown of kind of like what's in the deck and what's
Very
going on.
smart. And also, so there was a UK contingent that was basically linking up and doing one big subscription to save a bunch on shipping. So if you guys can connect and do that, that is a very valid strategy.
Well, seems like a party time moment. Let's do a side action. And I will...
Party time, excellent.
I don't even know, honestly.
He doesn't even
There's too many things
know.
going on.
You're just getting swarmed by some dinos. Nothing too fancy. Nothing too fancy.
I do like this play.
I'm actually going to put my Phoenixborn down here.
All right, let's do this.
I'm hiding behind my dinos.
I will use a side action here. I'm going to put a It's my power action. Draw a card, then place a card from my hand on the bottom of my deck. So I'll put this on the bottom.
Yeah.
When I draw, I'll exhaust my River Scald. We'll do 3 damage to your Raptor Herder.
Okay.
And then my horse gets +2 for this turn.
My horse gets +2.
Then I'll attack you with the horse. And I'm going to play Crescendo. So play some music, discard a card. And do 3 damage to a unit. I deal damage to one of my units. So I'll do 1 here and I'll do 3 to a Raptor.
Okay. Raptor gone. Desperado. Okay, so then now I'm in super build mode, basically.
I dig that. Astromarine, nominee.
Nominee. Nominee.
Namaste.
Namaste. Nominee.
Nominee.
Okay, let's play another Sacred Ground here. As my main action. And then side action.
Oh, wait, did you resolve this attack?
No.
So I was
it
attacking.
Who was it coming at?
I played
Xander?
that's the
Right,
thing,
right.
right? It feels
Yeah.
weird.
3
Yeah.
damage?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 3.
You're on it.
Got it. Okay. Then for my main action, I'll play Sacred Ground. I already spent the money for it. And then side action.
This is a hilarious quote from DR. It says, Desperado, you're getting swarmed by some dinos. I got horses on my dice. Know what I mean?
Let's do side action Frog the River Scald there.
Oh, man, this is awesome, Carl. He says, all right, Team Covenant, you got me. I'm in on this one. I'm going to sign up for my first subscription with you guys after work today. We genuinely appreciate it. I think you're going to love this game, and honestly, it just means the world to us that you're signing up.
Played Sacred Ground, did a Frog to your River Scald.
Oh, no. Not my skill.
He seems important.
All right. Mind skis. Let's play a string mage,
Woo, beautiful.
a horse, some music, an action. Then I'll use the Exchange Link 1 side action. Move a wound or status token from a target unit onto this unit. Move a wound or status token from this unit onto a target. Or, so I can move them around. So I'll
and
move
that
it
doesn't
over.
even take an exhaustion.
No,
to
she can
do.
keep doing it.
Woo! That's really good.
She's also got incredible art.
Okay. I'm late to the party.
This for you, and now I'm singing it.
Let's play Summon Archosaurus Mount. It's going to cost me a main action and a side action, and an angel, and a leaf, and a basic.
Wow, that's the most I've seen on a single.
Yeah,
Card.
it's got to be good. I don't even know what they look like, but... Oh, it's an action spell. Oh, I can't do that. Never mind. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I gotta get a picture of this. Just looks too good.
Return. Return. And then I understand why, because it's got the goods. I think it was, yeah, return.
It's got the beats.
It's an instant spell. It's just not even my spell board. So instead of doing that, why don't we do... I'll do a side action. Discard. Probably from hand.
Asherman, you're spot on. You cannot trust the Americans anymore. Me being one of them. You can trust me. You just can't trust Americans.
And then I'll pass my main action. I'm going to frogs.
You're just setting up for something crazy.
I gotta get those allies so I can ride stuff.
Let's go summon Squall Stallion. Action, music, basic. It's horsey time.
It's horsing time. Can you move exhaustion with her?
Wound or status.
Okay.
These aren't actually on there.
Wound or status.
Look at the coloring of these cards. It looks amazing. I feel like it's like got a water vibe. You've got this green going on.
It is a water vibe. I'm very aware.
I'm painfully aware of
I
my
like
bad
it
choice.
very much. I am going to pass.
Really setting up.
Let's go to the next turn already.
Not happening. Well, I'm just going to keep playing the beats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just make some room here. How far do I got? We'll go there. I'm going to play a flute mage, action, music, basic. He has a side action, which I'll use, which is exhaust him, remove an exhaustion token from a target unit.
Mm-hmm. He still has +2, or is that just the turn? The draw?
Just that
card.
thing.
Okay.
But obviously, if I draw again, they will both get it, and they can both get in there.
You know it. I got to get that River Scald out of here. I'm late to the party with you. I'll pass again.
All right, we'll use this action, draw a card, then place a card from my hand on the top or bottom of my deck. I'll put this on the bottom.
Okay.
They both get +2 for this round.
Phew.
Here come the
Can't
horses.
attack with both, though, you know?
Why not?
Oh, you can't at the same time? Yeah.
So all these guys will swing at you proper.
So I'll go armor 2 to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then doesn't much matter. I could just do one of those. Block, I could leave a raptor out, but blocking 3 seems better than blocking 1 and not dying. I think that's right. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and block that one.
Okay.
This doesn't even really matter at that point. And then, so I block 3 and then I take 4.
3, 4, yep.
1, 2, 3. So I'm going to 7. So 5, 6, 7. Get your river horses out of here. Poseidon. Okay, then we'll pay 1. Nature's Wrath. Deal 1 damage to all units.
Get out of town, Leroy Brown.
And then side action, I'm going to frog the string mage.
Bye, Felicia. And this is gone too, so I get my salamander.
You got a spirit, that's right.
From the dead. All right, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right, mine.
Yours. Yeah.
And he already had 1 on him, right? He should have 2.
He did, yeah.
So you could frog him to death.
I'm gonna try to frog him. It makes a lot of sense because those dinos want to be. Dinos want to be crushing.
Well, let's stop this. I'll play an Encore. It's an action. Search my discard pile for a card other than Encore placed on the top or bottom of my deck, and then draw a card.
What was it? Oh, okay.
It's the string mage.
Right on.
Actually, I can't play her. So
You
we
don't
won't
have
do
the
that.
battlefield.
Let's just do this then. Swing for 1.
Taking 1. Yeah. 13 of 20. Yikes. Side action here, and then any main action I can use just to prevent the pass.
Ben saying, I've always heard good things about this game. Any idea why it never really took off? So it was actually on fire up front, and it had a few really unfortunate things. Some delays in releases up front, and then Plaid Hat got bought, and then the expansions after that got severely underprinted, and that was just a catastrophe across the board. All right. Mine?
Yep. I passed my main action, so if you pass now, we'll leave.
All right. Side action. I'm going to upgrade this to a horse. I'm going to downgrade this to a basic.
Okay.
And then main action.
If you don't take 1, we'll go to the next round.
I won't. I'll pass.
All right, we'll go to the next round.
But I like that end of round.
I'll probably discard this one. Remove all the exhaustion. And then we need to do, so what are your recovers? You recover 2 there, yeah? Nothing. One there, yeah.
Yeah, so the bigger problem is I can just swing.
We were swinging.
So I'll draw and see what we get. Right.
Yeah, you got the first turn, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're swinging.
So
Nothing I can do there.
I'll roll.
Ooh, see, yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
Oh, man. All music except one. Those dice are lit. All right, I'll use my main power to draw a card, then I can put a card on the top or bottom of my deck. The horses get +2.
Boom.
Everything's
You
coming
got
out.
me.
I'm stampeding over.
This makes so one of the things I was running into, I'm so glad the allies come back to your hand. Otherwise, the mounting is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I drew into all of I had 3 of those Summon Stegosaurus mount spells and no allies. And so I was like, well, so I think the opening hand, you probably, also the being tied down for one more round from the exhaustion, not the double exhaust.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get those allies back.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're about to uncork. Once you get the ally out and you can start doing the mount stuff, you can totally get there. But then you have like Earthquake, right? 4 to something, 1 to everything. You have the 1 to everything. So you're wiping the board of small things and then putting the big dinos out.
Which is cool.
Makes a ton of sense, yeah.
I do think the update to the mountain rules, I never played with the old one, but the way it was described, that makes a lot of sense to
It's
me.
just an example of how much cleaner it can be. Okay, well, hey, let's get out of here, shall we?
We shall.
Happy Tuesday, Ashes. Let's try it. Should we get an update? Where are
Yeah,
we on
we'll update it. You want to give me one last rundown on how this works?
Yeah, so very simple. We have a subscription open for Ashes 1.5, essentially. And if we get, basically we need 1,000 units for Plaid Hat to print Ashes 1.5. What that is the first product is an upgrade pack, and it takes 30% of the current Ashes 1.0 card pool, rebalances, rewrites the cards, and packages them all together. That's the first release, $29.95. So if we get enough people, the game will go back into print. The first product will be the upgrade pack. It'll be sent through the subscription. And then every quarter, a new expansion will come out. And those will continue to come out as long as there's enough people subscribed to hit the production numbers that Plaid Hat needs to make it a thing worth doing. So that's basically the scoop. And then after those products come out, Plaid Hat, is planning on a lot of things, I'm sure, to get those out, whether it's through some distribution channels or local stores directly, international hubs, whatever it is. But the indicator of the health of the game for everybody involved is going to be how many subscribers do we have. If we have enough, let's go ahead and keep making the game. If we ever drop below that number, it'll just stop. And it's that simple. So we need to get 1,000 up front, 1,000 units.
To get this thing rolling.
And we hope we can do it.
It's in your hands.
We'll give it a shot.
Paul asking, is there going to be any artwork in the upgrade kit? You'll have to ask Plaid Hat.
Yeah, do not know.
Yoda Taco, what's the count? So we're at 29%.
They're almost 30% of the way there.
In a single stream.
All right, so we got some work to do. 60%, 60, 70% left.
60 round up to a 7. Yeah, and we'll be back. We're going to be streaming Ashes again next week. It should be on Wednesday, but look this weekend. We always post the schedule. And then we're going to be talking about all this and how it works and whatnot on the podcast and what it means and all that kind of stuff. So watch out for that, the Covenant Cast, if you're unfamiliar. And we'll see if we can get this thing moving.
Spread the word. So we're about to send the newsletters and let everybody out there in the world know from our sphere. And a huge thank you to Plaid Hat Games. This has been super fun just to have somebody to work with like this. Colby, we talked to him after Gamma this year, and really this just kind of started a conversation of like, well, you love Ashes, so this is a passion project for Plaid Hat, and it's like, but it doesn't make sense. I don't think we don't really have the right model to move it through standard distribution. We don't have the right model for it to kickstart, so it's kind of running into the same problem of these smaller publishers, expandable games, don't have the collectability, so where does this kind of a game belong? And we said, well, here's something that might work, and that started the conversation, and here we are. So we're going to give it a shot. So huge shout out to Plaid Hat Games. Thank you so much for being an awesome partner here. And if we get that number, we'll let you guys know as soon as we do. And hopefully we can get back into print and just let's get this thing going, because we know there's enough people out there to make a game like this and enough people who would enjoy it to make it worth everybody's time to do. So thank you guys so much. We will catch you, next week? We'll definitely be streaming some Ashes.
Yeah, at some point next week.
So
Watch
we'll
out for that
see you there.
schedule.
Tell your friends.